Okay, so today we are going to be reacting. Well, it's not really a react, it's more of like a commentary through, right? Of the ending of the Amazing Digital Circus, because I've watched a number of people react to the. Because I enjoyed the series, right? To the ending, and I actually could not disagree with most people more on the ending of this series than out there. Like, I totally disagree with, like, for example, Nux's view of what happened there. I totally disagree with Alicia X Death on what exactly happened at the end of the Amazing Digital Circus. I basically disagree with everyone, and Doctor of Insanity is basically in the same boat as me on this, where I think everyone kind of just missed the entire fucking point of the series, to be perfectly honest, right? Like, people wanted to...
Oh, and you mentioned two people I haven't actually seen their reaction to this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fair enough. But I assume this is a relatively safe thing to react to, because literally every fucking VTuber on the face of the goddamn planet has been reacting to the Amazing Digital Circus. And yeah, again, it's like it just keeps going and going and going. Right? So I'm gonna assume
I reacted to this.
I'm gonna assume that it's safe to react to this. And actually, speaking of which, I guess I'll give my thesis here, or at least one of the things I think everyone is. What am I doing, right? It turns out my genetic predisposition to dyslexia may be finally kicking in, right? So, I don't know why it's here. I fucking finished this entire thing. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, you mean the thing that's here that's literally talking about what he talks about later in the series about, where is it? Like, literally right here, right, in the video? Yeah, sure, I didn't fucking watch this, right? It's why I literally have foreknowledge of the future. Anyway, so yeah, like 6 days ago, I corrected...
Psychic, everyone.
Right, so yeah, 6 days ago, I corrected what I think is a major interpretation error, that Nux had in this thing. I didn't even bother with Elysia X Death correcting that. A couple other people, I didn't even bother correcting it because it's like, you know, it wasn't. They focused on different things than what caught my attention, right? So, I guess we should get into this. This is like probably going to be the first time I've ever actually managed to successfully do a let's react to an episode of something, right? Because last time I tried to do that, it was with My Adventures with Superman, and I got fucking immediately copyright struck, and that was like, but that was like a year ago, right? So anyway, I hated that series. I was hate watching that. I'm gonna be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I got through 3 episodes, and I'm like, nope, this series ain't for me.
Yeah. Okay, let us begin.
I have seen so many people get trolled by this scene because they think that it got froze.
Right? Actually, you know what? Fair enough. I feel like how they committed to the bit from the last episode, and everyone's just like, oh shit, what the fuck are we gonna do, right?
Yeah, it kind of shows you the differences between how the series has gone to this point and how it started.
Yeah. And I do like how this part carries on a little bit too long to, like, emphasize the endless repetitiveness of their life in the circus.
Also, how, like, in the first episode, that part is also the part that ended up repeating itself.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How did that even happen? There's no undo or anything?
He was messing with the console as I was working. I don't know what happened, but before I could try to get him back, the floor opened up and...
That's convenient.
Jax.
What? Are we all just supposed to forgive this? This guy messed up in the worst possible way he could. Now, we have nothing.
Jax, please, just calm down.
I do like how this actually makes more sense when you actually see what the cause of his problems actually are, right? Hello, Mind of Ra. Oh, watching the last episode of the Digital Circus, cool deal. Yeah, I don't usually. I don't usually like doing these specific kinds of reaction videos, only because I don't know whether or not I'm going to get hit with like a massive copyright strike, right? But considering everyone and their dog has reacted to this, I'm going to assume that this is something that, to every episode of the show, by the way, I'm going to assume that this is safe to watch and comment on, right? And Nux Taku's reacted to every single one of these things, and he happens to be, in many respects, left to me. So it's like, yeah, they're not getting struck for political reasons. So it's like, okay, fair enough, right?
We're all.
Plus, not just
Anything
one of those
else you
people
wanna
that seems
tell
to get
us?
struck down whenever
He
by
gets to
anyone
mess
he
up like
meets.
Yeah.
this, and everyone takes his side.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen this is going to be a heavy spoiler video, right? This particular thing makes a lot more sense later, when we see why exactly he freaked out in a previous episode after he pushed Pomni. Because this is a direct... Yeah, anyway.
Brain scans. Scratch was trying to make a brain scanner.
Oh, I'm about to be really fucking
It
petty.
actually worked. We didn't know how to work with the files, and they were impossibly small, given what they were supposed to be. I saw a folder full of them when I was in Kane's code. So, I guess Kane found a way to get them working.
Okay, I'm about to be just slightly petty, right? Because I'm going to be perfectly honest, right? I get a little invested in these conversations online because, like, I love media analysis, right? So I'm about to do a little bit of a jig here, right? Because the whole I was fucking right the entire time. What the fuck happened? Did my YouTube stream end?
I'm not checking your YouTube, so I can't say here. Let me.
It looks like it's still running. Hold on. Okay, yeah, it seems to be still responsive and live. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I'm gonna put this to the side and
Also,
contract the window.
Your YouTube one's still called Short Fun Stream.
Yeah, right, it is still a short fun stream. Okay, good. Just make it short, because the fucking pro chat sometimes tells me the stream ended when it didn't, and it gets really frustrating. But yeah, so I'm about to be a little petty. So on this video, I made I actually wasn't. Was it this video? It was either this one or the one. Actually, it was the one after. Sorry. Yeah, so it was this one where I believe that, like, I made an observation on this video, and she didn't comment on it, right? But there was some cunt in the thing just like, oh yeah, like, everything you're saying is completely unsubstantiated. It's probably buried somewhere in the comment section. But I was making an observation about, like, how, yeah, it's almost certain that everyone in the circus is a copy of a mind, not actually, the real person. And I'm like... Who would have fucking guessed the next episode I would be completely vindicated because I actually paid attention to the small details of the show, right? It turns out the people who actually pay attention to the small details of most stories can actually see some of this stuff coming through, right? Oh my god.
And not only that, but it's just like the Soma theory is literally the only one that actually makes sense because, like, let's say that they went with what seemed to be a lot of people thought was going to be the case. They went with the Sword Art Online type of situation where their minds got transferred into the game and their body was still out there. With Sword Art Online, as much shit as people give it, it actually had It actually had a justifiable reason and talked about the negative side effects and what you need in order for that type of situation to even work and have the body still functioning for when they return.
Yeah.
And they even mentioned that they're on a time. Here, if this was that case, then their body would only last for like a week at most.
Yeah. I would say actually a couple days.
Yeah.
I would say maybe 2 days. Yeah.
I'm giving like probably a statement of a week because there's going to be some people who try to argue further, but yeah, like no one is lasting more than a week.
Yeah.
inside this situation because there's no one there to keep up and check your your vitals, feed you, give you water, etc., etc.
Yeah, and yes, Kionala, being petty is fun. Continue.
Yeah, and that's not even including on if their mind is transferred here. Is their brain function on their body would even still allow them to breathe?
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
it's like
all you needed to do to predict this was just to notice that, like, the fucking all you needed to do to predict this ending was just pay attention to the very end of the first episode, where the headset is neatly placed on the desk, and there's no evidence of a disturbance on the desk. Right? There's no person lying down. There's no evidence of anyone having been there. Like, so it's like. Yeah, no shit. They put on the headset and then like they took it off, and a copy of their consciousness was left in the game. It wasn't that hard to figure out. A lot of us had this pegged from like the first episode. Anyway, some people don't really pay attention, have a short attention spans. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's like, and that's not even considering the fact of how blatant this series has been about the fact that it is basically inspired by "I have no mouth and I must scream."
Yeah, and actually, because like I got a little bit of shit for saying that, like, look, man, as bad as Kane is doing a lot of wrong, right? But like, no one in the cast is actually reaching out to Kane on terms he can actually understand. There is a massive wall of no communication, like going back and forth, because no one's actually willing to communicate in a way that other people can actually understand each other. But anyway, yeah. So back to the thing.
I know what it means.
Congratulations, Zubul! Guess you still get to leave your mark in the world. Oh, isn't that fun?
Jax.
I guess you still get to hang out with Mommy after all, right, Rags?
Shut up, Jax!
Guess I'm still...
I know. I think I've always known.
I think, yeah, and you know what? I actually believe this, because it would explain to me why everyone freaks the fuck out in, like, as soon as they get in the world, right? Something is very obviously, deeply ontologically wrong, right? And if they were just in a game, like, if you put a headset on, I don't know of a single person who's put a headset on and then, like, started, like, a VR thing has popped up and freaked the fuck out, right? I don't think I've never seen that happen. So it's like, why is it that when they put the headset on and then they immediately freak out? It's like, hold on, I need to take this headset off immediately, right? That doesn't make any sense if it's a normal headset.
Yeah, and like not only that, but like say they didn't know that this was going to be a game world that they're being transferred into, because it's like a random headset that they found on the computer.
Still wouldn't warrant the freak out.
Building. Yeah, it's like, because like, it's a headset. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
You think that you're going to put on the headset and you're just going to see pure darkness when the power is clearly being processed to it?
Yeah.
No, it's like you're going to see whatever it's going to show you.
Exactly. So it's like, again, I don't really know what the fuck people were thinking for the most part with this. It's like, it's very clearly what was going on from the very beginning. But also, I like how this threads the needle between, like, what Jax believed and what he feared at the same time, right? Because Jax in the previous episode was coping about nothing that he ever did actually meant anything. He had a very solipsistic view of the world, right? He's like, oh yeah, none of this is actually real. And then it turns out both they are not real, and yet everything he remembers is real at the same time, right?
And not only that, but the last episode when he was learning that basically all this information stuff could potentially be real, that they could potentially be real people, he started freaking out.
Yeah. Crimson says it's probably somewhat like a dream that Pomni was saying. You don't feel as much as you should. Does Kane even make casual wind or smells? Those little things missing completely would be unsettling and disjointed from typical reality. I absolutely agree. But I also think that these bodies probably feel fundamentally different from the inside than what a human body feels. Now, granted, most people don't actually sit down and think about, like, for example, like, clear their mind and just focus on, like, what it feels like to breathe, or what it feels like to just, like, clear your head and just, like, feel, like, just the sensation of your hands doing nothing, right? That kind of mindfulness is not exactly common. But at the same time, I don't think that would be necessary for you to do. I think you would immediately, if you were transported from your body to one of these bodies, immediately feel some kind of massive difference just at the onset because it's such a fundamentally different body, right?
Not only that, but I said, let's go back to the last episode and what Kane said when he was in his office. He created a program to basically inhabit their mind and to put their mind files in a body suited for them, and they still hate it.
Yeah.
Which means the program he made in order to house their minds, to create bodies to house their minds, is not perfect. Because, again, he doesn't understand humans.
Yeah, so it's more of an issue of like they're honestly their physical bodies are actually pretty rife for psychoanalytic criticism, to be perfectly honest, because they were meant to fit their mind, not to fit their actual bodies. So their self-perception actually is like massively informative on like how they actually came out appearing. But there's a lot of angles that you can go and attack this series, not in the sense of like tear it down, but like attack in the sense of like break it apart to examine what exactly is going on, right? Anyway, let's go back to the thing.
It just, for some reason, it still hurts so much to hear it.
I know it hurts, but we still have each other. We're all in this together.
And you can already see like the different ways that people respond to this. Like, there's a lot of dualities in the series, right? Pomni and Jax are in many ways like antitypes to each other, and in many respects they are very similar to each other. But the same thing is the case with like Ragatha and Jax as well, where it's like Ragatha and Zubul, their first like reaction is completely collapse, right? Whereas like Pomni and Gangle, their first reaction is to reach out to someone who needs, who's hurting. And then Jax's reaction is to just completely shut down and isolate himself, which is a obviously really fucking bad move. But yeah. Kianala, trust me, I do that all the time, especially when my body changes, when my body decides, my bad, go F you and grow crystals in my ankle. Ooh, yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. What were you saying?
But yeah, like, I was saying, like, you can give the series a lot of criticism. It's like, I will admit, I do love this series, but there is a lot of issues I have with it.
Some of the dialogue is extremely, like, unnatural and also just like ideologically twinged. Yeah,
I'm saving my discussion about the dialogue of this series for one specific scene.
I don't really mind I don't mind stylistic dialogue. In fact, I kind of wish we would move away from hyper-realistic dialogue in certain series and like go back to the stylistic dialogue, which is actually one of the reasons why I like listening to the characters in Warhammer talk. It's not naturalistic at all, but the prose is really pretty, and damn if it isn't nice listening to people talk that way, right?
Yeah, continuing what I'm saying, like, you can criticize the series for a lot of stuff that it kind of does wrong or does questionably. But one thing you can't really criticize it, well, not is basically its understanding of the human psyche.
I think this.
Because like,
Go, keep going.
you were saying?
No, keep going.
I was saying, it's like, because yeah, it's like there are a lot of issues on how it tries to portray what it's trying to say about these type of people, but it's not basic. But they're not, as they shown basically with the Guns episode. They're trying not to make these characters one note, and also showcase more how people like them would actually respond to these situations.
Yeah, no, this entire series is basically a series of character studies, right? This is a very character-driven, not story-driven series, which is one of the reasons people like it, because as much as we like to concede that the story is the most important thing in a story, it's actually the characters. If you have a good story but bad characters, that doesn't exactly carry very well. People will drop a story, even if it's a good story, for having bad characters. Like Old English versus Modern English. No, everything in the Warhammer series is still Modern English. It's just highly stylized, highly refined to create a specific feeling, right? To create a specific atmosphere. But yeah, I do like the more stylized prose in general. Kura says, "Don't look at me. The only series online I watched was Red vs. Blue, Hell of a Boss, and Has Been Hotel." I have a lot of reservations for Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. I've seen them. I watched the first season of both, and I understand why people like them. And I also understand the criticisms people make of them. I think some of them are kind of misguided because they're not understanding what they're trying to do. But at the same time, it's like I haven't really kept up with them.
At least he has one of 3 good choices.
Oh, Red vs. Blue. Oh, yeah, Red vs. Blue is fucking amazing. I understand why people like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. I'm just not a big fan of either of those two. Let's continue. Let's see. Yeah, and that hit Gangle hard because it looks like, again, like when Zubul completely shut down, the whole thing is those two, like, keep each other up, right? They actually look out for each other, and now that, like, Zubul is just completely shut down, it means that, like, Gangle is in a very real sense more isolated than she's ever been before.
Yep.
Hello, Stitch. Hello, very much series of numbers, right? I meant how it sounds and flows. Older ways of speech sounding nicer than modern way of speaking. Yeah, you know, I could say that. I do like the more classical. Let's go with classical, like, style of speech, right? And once it bridges the modern, because it's still completely modern English, but it also has a sense of not antiquity, but a sense of, like, out of placeness of time, right? Couldn't figure out a way to get those numbers off. That's entirely fair. I kind of figured, as soon as I saw the numbers, I was like, there's no way that's on purpose. That had to have been something that just, like, happened. I was like, okay, I have no idea how to fix this. That's entirely fair.
I think there might be a settings to at least change how your name is displayed, but you're going to have to search for that yourself, Stitch.
Yeah, I couldn't like help you with that. Like, I'm not changing my name, and I've never really looked at how to change the name. And this is also another response to shit has just gone horribly wrong, right? Is everyone else, for the most part, has gone into themselves, and Kinger, you know, the dad of the group, has actually started going off to actually do something, right? It's like, well, shit has hit the fan, but wallowing in my own self-pity doesn't exactly do anything, especially when there's people who need my help, right? So he immediately goes out there, and he starts literally rebuilding the world that was broken by the mistake he himself made. So in a very real sense, he's actually taking the first one to take responsibility for the situation by being the first one to actually go and start repairing everything. And Pomni, again, she doesn't want to wallow in her own self-pity, and she can't really help anyone else right now. So she wanders off to Kinger to see if there is a way to help everyone, you know, in a practical way.
It does really show exactly the piece of information we will learn later on in this episode. But the one thing I would like to talk about, and it's like it is more of a nitpick on my end, not really going to change how this episode is like, but is that his right eye, well, left from our perspective, under the bucket for Kinger, keeps appearing and disappearing in this episode, and that does kind of annoy me.
Yeah. Kionella says, eloquent is the word you're probably looking for. That is definitely the word I'm looking for. Right? I'm English major, can you tell, right? Fushizi says, when shit hits the fan, double down and do something, or the fan will never be clean of shit. Yeah, that's exactly what Kinger's doing right now, to be perfectly honest. But also, you gotta remember that these are, like, you gotta remember that the male and female brain deal with problems in different ways, right? Oftentimes, in order for a female brain to actually process information, they have to actually directly experience and go through the situation, right? Whereas men take a step back to remove themselves from the situation, look at it from an outside objective standpoint, and then try to solve it there. So women process information oftentimes by subjectively experiencing it in the moment, and then men process the same information by taking a step back and removing their own subjectivity and trying to be objective about the situation, right? And objectively speaking, Jax doesn't know how to do any of this stuff. So he's like, Jax himself, you know, even though he's a male, yeah, sure, he's lost in his own head, but even if he was wanting to do something, he wouldn't know how to do any of this stuff. right? Only Kinger actually knows how to do something productive right now, which it's a good thing that he does, because now Pomni can learn how to do something productive.
Need any help?
Maybe he's a hair away from
If you're
realizing how
willing
to
to try.
fix everything.
Right?
Relax your body and mind. Deep breaths. And try not to think too hard about it.
Yeah, they established that they could do this in the previous episode with the guns, right? The fucking Kinger is like, oh yeah, I just made that up. And then the later scene where, like, Kinger was talking about, oh yeah. Yeah, I already did. And the thing with Kinger, where Kinger was like, oh yeah, we can all conjure things in the last episode. It's just Kane, it comes more naturally to Kane, right? So,
Yeah.
I really wanted to help.
You had a good start.
I thought I could uplift everyone, but everything's gotten so bad. God, am I stupid for even trying?
No, none of this is your fault.
and I find it interesting because, like, she wouldn't be crashing out this hard, to be perfectly honest, if she was able to help even Kinger here, right? Because even if she was able to, like, help Kinger, then she'd have something to be able to help to uplift other people, right? But even right now, all she can do is she can make these, like, ineffectual triangles, and it's catching up with her because the reason she went to Kinger in the first place is she's trying to not process what's going on, right? And realizing that she can't really help Kinger, she can just really get in his way at the moment, is taking that avenue away from her, which allows Kinger to do the thing he does best, right? Boo Huckley says, the two doctor girlfriends, fair enough, stream. I've been camping for this event. Fair enough. Stitch says, Kinger sounds, Kinger. I think he might be talking about one of your songs. Kinger sounds of, like a great father. Yeah, the episode will get there, right?
I don't think anyone could
I
have
have no idea what
things
song
to
you'd be
play out the way
referring
they
to.
did.
I'm scared. I don't know what's gonna happen.
And Kinger pulling the
You know,
bodily move once again.
Of all the people
Yep.
I've seen enter this place, I don't think any one of them adjusted as quickly as you did.
I was a nervous wreck.
So was I.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's true. Being a busybody only delays the inevitable. But the thing is, it's like, it depends. Like, if you're doing something to actually solve the problem, that's one thing, right? But if you're doing something to avoid the problem, then the problem is still there, right? So it's like, Pomni is doing this to try to avoid the problem, but Kinger is doing this so he can actually fix the problem, right? And either way, it would still benefit other people if she could help, but it doesn't actually help her because the problem that she's going through right now is a deep psychological terror of, I've lost complete control over my life, and there is no visible way for me to actually get control back in my life in such a way that I could, you know, that it doesn't look like there's any real chance of ever being happy again, kind of deal, right? A real deep existential fear. Kinger is probably a touch of Tism. Kane seems based on Tism brain. Right? Fair enough. A little bit, right? Definitely neurodivergent, right?
It's a lot for anybody to go through. But while the others took weeks, hell, even months to get used to everything, myself included, you found your footing in a matter of days.
I didn't even think to put the captions on.
Not just that. You've also become someone they can trust, even if they don't seem receptive.
There is a whole meme in the community, though. It's like one of the memes making fun of the show, though. That's, again, good show, but there is one funny meme about, like, again, years without Pomni. The circus runs fine. Months after Pomni gets in, whole fucking thing collapses, right? It's not really her fault, but it is a funny fucking meme, right?
Yeah, it's like there's one issue I do have with the series. It's more of a again, it's one of those nitpick things, but a lot of the stuff that basically is brought up to the series, like the moment when they're all talking in the bar, the question, and brings up the question: why did no one seem to have tried something like this beforehand?
Yeah.
Not the actual bar scene, but the actual trying to get to know each other.
Yeah. So, Stitch, by the way, oh wait. Dr. Girlfriend from the Venture Brothers. Oh, I forgot about that. I wasn't even thinking about the Venture Brothers. Okay, that makes more sense. Stitch. So yeah, we do music reaction, but we're not doing that right now. We usually do that. Like, I usually do other stuff for the most part, and then I do music reactions on occasion, right? Let's see. This is a.
I just basically make songs in whatever type of random AI image I want on X, and then basically a Cosmic here brings me along to react to any of my songs he wants to.
Yeah, feel free, if you have a song that you want me to look at, tag me on X, and I'll add it to the queue.
It's times like these that I need someone like that the most. You're very strong, Pommy. And I know you'll be able to get through this.
We've been here before.
Have we?
Yeah. Back in the Mildenhall Manor.
I do actually like that, even though the very obvious subroutine that Kane had installed in Kinger to make him go mad in the light and very clearly isn't working right now, right? I do like how he's still got the bucket on his head because he doesn't know if that subroutine actually is still functioning. It's not, by the way. Or I do like the fact that like the things that like that subroutine still actually, because of the damage it did to his ability to form memories in the first place, right, interferes with his ability to recall some of the background information. The A Cosmic Digital Circus, right?
I don't remember.
It's a bit closer to my name because A Cosmic means without cosmos.
Well, it's still true. It may take time, but it'll come around. We can't fix every problem. Not with ourselves. Not with the world around us. But we can still do what we can.
It's gonna be a lot of work.
But it won't be a lot of work alone.
And again, here we have being is intrinsically good kind of idea here, right? Even though they're technically like in a computer, right? These characters still do exist, even if it's just a series of zeros and ones and of thinking rocks, right? So even here, it's like, yeah, sure, we may have been demoted in existence from they never were actually human, right? They're just copies of brains, right? But like they may perceive themselves as having been dipped in the chain of being from being truly human to being, these brain scans. But to be perfectly honest, they may not be animals in the real sense, but they still have cognition, right? They're still rational entities, right? And like they still have the closest thing to like a rational soul you could have in here. I'm gonna assume that we're just gonna assume that these characters are actually alive, and the principle of life is the soul, right? So if we operate on the assumption that these things can be considered alive, because let's be fair, the show is operating under a functionalist view of consciousness, right? Then yeah, they would still have technically a rational soul. So they wouldn't technically be human because a man is a rational animal, but rational disembodied intelligences are angels, right? And it's not that hard to believe that like if you could have life in a computer, then it wouldn't be an animal, but you could still imagine a third category of rational soul if you were permitting that, right? Would this work in real life? No, but this is fiction. Things don't always work the same way.
And like with my song "Rebuild the City," it's like the darkness, the chaos of Kane, and then basically the world falling apart after he's gone has happened, and Kinger is offering the solution of them rebuilding the city back, rebuilding the circus back into the light.
Yeah, I mean, because Kane being deleted was basically a kaiju raging through this thing. Let's see.
Yeah.
Boo Huckley says the ending isn't perfect; it's better than perfect. Well, done and good is better than perfect and never finished, right? Precisely because good and done does actually exist, whereas perfect and unfinished does not. Crimson Rain, hello, Crimson Rain says this is the AI they warned us about in Mass Effect. Possibly. Hello, Road. I've actually never played Mass Effect. This is probably going to be the thing that gets me copyright struck is the music.
Well, not this song, because I seem that very few people actually need to cancel to close out this song. It's another song that is probably going to be an actual licensed song.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute that as soon as that happens. As soon as that song comes up, I'm gonna mute it. I'm just saying, I don't want to have to fucking edit this. Actually, hold on. There is. Actually, hold on. There is a mechanism. There's actually a tool on YouTube that will allegedly cut out copyrighted music. So I'm gonna see. I might actually not mute it in that case, because if that's the case, I might be able to let the music play, and then when I actually get to the YouTube part, I could probably use that tool to cut out the actual song and leave everything else in. Now, Buhakli says that consciousness is electricity. Just transfer those frequencies into a clay body. Golemics, eh? Oh my god. Did you get that from the fucking? Did you get that from my scheduled Honey Goblin React video? Right? Don't chance it. Fair enough. Yeah, we'll decide it when we get there. I'm leaning towards the just mute it, to be perfectly honest, so I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Also, I like the order on how they actually come in to help Ragada, obviously, because she is driven to help.
Yeah, and she's the most likely to actually get out of her head to help someone, so she's not in her head, right?
Yeah, like, then Zubo is next, and she's the one who guides Gangle to come help as well. Because she's kind of been Gangle's rock throughout this entire series.
It's a time investment, but I've played the trilogy MA many of times. In the future, when it becomes possible, because there are certain barriers as of the moment, I might play the game through, but that's going to be a while. I've still got to do still got a lot of things that I got to do before that. Such as completing Wedding Witch, right? Anyway. I will not stop until I get the Witch of... Wait. I already have that. Wait.
And as you see right there, Jax, instead of helping, he walks away first.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I wish I'd pried a little.
Okay, I'm gonna pause this because it struck me how many people didn't understand what was going on. Because like, as soon as I saw that, as soon as I heard that, I wish I had tried a little more. As soon as that happened, when I first watched this with Doctor, I knew for a fact that fucker abstracted. Right? It's like before he even popped up, I knew he abstracted.
Yeah, it's like we both saw this happening a mile away.
Yeah.
A little more. I somehow forgot how bad it can get.
And again, this is one of the things where it's like I think everyone wants to bring their own little thing to this, but if you're gonna pick something that this seems to be leaning towards more of, the thing is, like, symbols in stories can stand for multiple things. You can use the same symbol in the same story at different times as a stand-in for different things. People have kind of forgot about this because they don't read older stories, right? And that doesn't create an inconsistent symbology. That just means that context helps to inform the meaning of a symbol, which I think we should all fucking know, right?
Also, it's like a lot of people. I have seen a lot of people complain about this situation because they're like, "Well, Pomni is the helper. She wouldn't let wouldn't let Jax just walk away like this." It's like, well,
she wouldn't
Jax
know.
Has always been constantly. Yeah, it's like one, she wouldn't know. Because Jax always keeps pushing everyone away in situations like this. And two, look at the situation they're in. She's already had their hands full trying to fix the circus and making sure everyone else who's already come and asked for help is basically getting help they need.
Yeah, I mean,
has our plate full already.
Yeah, and to be fair, Jax literally did this to himself. I see what you're doing there, Boo Huckley. You're not getting me to say the phrase, right? It just surprises me how many people watch this, and it takes them so long to figure out that's Jax, right? I saw a couple people like, wait, the abstractions got out? And I'm like, no, that's Jax. It's very clearly Jax.
And I will say a main issue, I will say differently from a lot of people, like, this episode did not need that much more time. It just needed 10 more minutes just to show basically Jack's wandering off and the beginning stage of the track. Don't show him actually abstracting, but actually show it starting, like what they did in the beach episode with the eyes starting to glow.
I disagree. I don't even think they needed to show the beginning of the abstraction. I think they just needed 5 to 10 more minutes with Jax. But I think it's actually a good decision to not show any part of the abstraction, right? Because what's important here is not the abstraction per se. And here's the thing. Everyone wants to focus on the abstraction as like a world building thing. But I hate to tell people this. The world building of a story is oftentimes not nearly as important as people think it is, right? It's like people watch Evangelion. I'm a big Evangelion fan, right? I know all the lore, like background world building lore, right? Like I know obsessive amounts of details about Evangelion lore, right? But as someone who's actually watched Evangelion like 15 times, I can tell you right now, the character writing is actually the thing that drives Evangelion. That's the thing that makes the world building actually interesting, is the character writing in the first place, right? The actual story. If you're going in expecting the world, for the world building, you're literally you're literally not like interacting with the story on the terms it's trying to on its own terms, right? You're trying to impose your own terms onto the story and then judging it for this artificial constraint that was never like intended in the first place. Evangelion versus Darling in the Franxx, love both. Let's see. Blue Huckley says, I'm obstructing. God damn it. You can see like everyone is fucking devastated, but in like a wildly different way. Like Pomni is just like not processing this at all, and like absolutely you can see the other two are just absolutely devastated by this.
What do we do now? What can we do? Of course he'd do this. Of course he'd wait until there's nothing we could do about it. That's just so... God damn it, Jax.
What a fucked up... my bad. What a fucked up situation, right? It's like, I need to punch a wall, but my hands are literally just like rubber, right? As soon as I hit the wall, it makes a cartoony sound effect, and nothing happens, right? Oh my god.
Yep. I've seen so many people just burst out laughing at that.
To be fair, it is funny.
I'm sorry.
For what? Hey, this isn't your fault.
Yeah. And this is a thing that actually is more common than people would like to think, right? Is obviously people blaming themselves for, the things that other people do. And it's, I hate to say this because it sounds a little cruel, but it's objectively true. It's a very childish way of trying to process how people, other people's behavior, right? It's like when you deal with a child, right? And then like the parents aren't getting along, and then because the child's worldview is so small, right, and they have such little experience with the world, oftentimes they internalize the conflict. It's like, oh, somehow I am the root of this particular conflict, right? It happens quite often, right? And a lot of people carry this into adulthood, but it's a very narcissistic. It's a very narcissistic way of looking at the world, because then the conflict ultimately revolves around you when it might not have anything to do with you, right? And in this case, it is a little narcissistic for Gangle to internalize this, but it's not malicious, right? It's just something that she does as a sort of defense mechanism to not have herself feel small, right? But anyway, continue.
This Crimson Rain right here says it's survivor's guilt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Hello, Owen Pines. Let's see. I thought I turned off that damn phone. Anyway, where the hell did I even put it? Let's continue. Oh, here it is.
Why can't I cry for him? I suppose we should try coming up with a plan.
And there's another thing. It's like, again, why can't I cry for him? It's like, to be perfectly honest, right? Like, obviously, this doesn't just happen here, right? Sometimes this happens with people that you're actually close to. Someone dies and then they can't really cry because the brain just is not processing the information, right? But at the same time, in this case, there's a layer of distance here in that Jax was a real fucking dickhead to her, right? Like, he made her life kind of a living hell, right? The way he coped was by being a cartoon character and making Gangle the constant butt of the joke, right? And yeah, so it... Huh?
As we saw inside the gun episodes, like, whenever a situation came where they needed to be paired up in teams, Jax always forced Gangle to come with him.
Yeah.
It wasn't until basically Pomni came around and kind of had everyone starting to open up a bit more is when she started standing up to herself a little bit, and Zubul started becoming Gangle's shield.
Yeah. So the thing with that too is like there's a conflicted view of what's going on here. On the one hand, he can't hurt me anymore. On the other hand, someone has just effectively died, right? So you have these two different crossing streams here, and it kind of feels, again, this happens more often than people think, where it's like, I'm kind of relieved that this bad thing has happened. Does that make me a bad person for being relieved that this bad thing has happened, kind of deal, right? Which, again, more common than people think it is. But let's see. Fushizi says, I know I'm not the root of all problems, but I can try to be. There you go. Right?
Yeah, basically so.
180 IQ move, right? I'm not the root of all problems, but I can be. Fair enough.
I don't want to be the answer to all the problems. I want to be the cause of all the problems.
Oh my god, it's literally that fucking 4chaner. It's like, I'm not trying to fix her. I want her to make me worse. I gotta react to a parrot 4chan video at some point. That shit is fucking funny.
You know, I always thought it should have been me.
Don't say that.
We were friends once.
Again, as you said, the survivor moment thing, right? It's like, it should have been me, which... I hate to say this again, this is another thing of like a deeply nested pride that people go through, right? It's again very narcissistic, right? Like, it would have been better if it was me. Why would it be better if it was you? Oh, because you wouldn't be feeling this way is ultimately the root every fucking time that this happens. I've never met a single person where that actually didn't turn out to be the case, right? It's like, yeah, the reason that it would have been better for it to be me is that ultimately, even if they care about the other person, right, it does ultimately boil down to, like, I wouldn't be feeling this way if it was me instead of them. So it's like, I have, this does really annoy me. But, again, it's more common than people think it is.
And this pain is unbearable. Can I switch places with the dude who just died?
Right? That's my first thought whenever people tell me about this stuff, too, is like, yeah, so it would be worse, so it would be better if he was feeling this and not you. And usually people kind of pause at that because, like, what? It's exactly what you're fucking telling me. You don't want to say this because it does turn out that, again, people don't want to examine the like unfortunate implications of the things that they're thinking and feeling sometimes, right? But fundamentally, that would be the actual logical consequences if you switch the places with these people, right? So anyway,
They don't have logic.
I'm just being blunt here, right?
I mean...
Again, they're human. They have no logic.
Friends.
We're an hour in. Fuck.
As much of friends as anybody could have been with Jax. We could talk to each other, at least. But then... What was it? Something like... the snowy summit. I can't really remember. But something happened between him and... her.
Like, here, I don't believe she's actually struggling to remember. I think she's struggling to actually bring herself to, like, talk about it. Because we'll see why in a moment.
Ribbit. Her name was Ribbit.
Yeah. I think I remember you mentioning her before.
I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah, like right here. I think that this is why she, quote-unquote, struggles to remember, is because she's trying to figure out a way to let it out without actually breaking that promise. And then she's like, there's not really a way to let it out, right? Hold on. Kuro says, there's also the context of someone who thinks that they wouldn't be missed, ultimately narcissism, although a more negative aspect. Yeah, because again, it's... yeah, again, because again, it's
Main
like...
character syndrome.
One more time?
Main character syndrome.
Yes, that's that's a good way to put it, right? A lot of it is the whole thing was like, oh, it wouldn't matter if it wouldn't matter because no one's gonna miss me kind of deal. It's like, so because you don't live up to the degree of like notoriety that you think you deserve, it would be better if you just didn't exist. Again, every fucking time I've ever met someone, it's boiled down to fundamentally that exact fucking problem, right? The reality doesn't like do to me what I believe should be the case, and so it would be better if I just wasn't there in the first place, right? Every fucking time I have had to deal with clients with this. I have had to deal with clients with like these kinds of thoughts before. It always fucking boils down to this. A cosmic Pomni cosplay plush win. You know what? I could probably use the AI to actually make a Pomni cosplay of my character, actually. The impression
To
of...
summarize what you basically just said, it's basically like, well, I failed this speedrun. Better start all over again.
Philip says, the impression of being a weight for everyone else. A cosmic as Pomni or Pomni as a cosmic. Yes. Yes, that's my answer to that question.
After Ribbit was gone, I tried to comfort him. He told me to never mention Ribbit's name again. He made me promise. And I did. I think that's where our friendship really, finally ended.
The problem is that this was an extremely unhealthy setup in the first place. Like, Jax's demand that she never talk about Ribbit to him again was extremely unreasonable. And that's a thing that you'll see very often, is that Jax has has extremely unreasonable boundaries, right? You get to define your own boundaries. Let's be fair, right? You get to define what the boundary, and to a certain extent there are arbitrary boundaries there, right? And you get to decide what your arbitrary boundaries are, right? But there are objectively unreasonable qualifications for certain boundary sets as well, right? Like, we can use human reason and the relationships between people to figure out where the boundaries need to actually be, right? It turns out not everything is complete subjectivity. There are objective ways to deal with a lot of this stuff. But, yes.
I can have the boundary. I can have the boundary where you cannot step onto my lawn without permission, but I cannot have the boundary where I step onto your lawn without you complaining.
Yeah. There is also the thing where it's like, I love how this episode completely fucking vindicates Ragatha, because I never bought into the Ragatha hate, right? I did always know that Ragatha had an unhealthy fixation with trying to help everyone at all times, right? It's not always possible. But I am so glad Ragatha got vindicated in this series, by the end of the series, because I always thought the hatred of Ragatha was completely fucking irrational.
Agreed.
I wonder if things would have been different if I'd said no.
They probably would have been.
It was so hard for me.
And here's the thing. At this point, it doesn't matter, right? We can literally spend all the time in the world thinking about, if I had done things differently, things would have ended up differently. It's like, yeah, no, that's a tautological fact, right? You're basically stating the same thing twice, right? If I had done something different, things would have been different. It's basically a tautology, right? Who was hating Ragatha? Why? Nux, for example, hated Ragatha with a passion because he thought Ragatha was a fake. He was being fake. And I'm like, nah, I've met people like this. I don't think Ragatha is being fake. I just think that she comes off as fake. But yeah, he's not the only one.
For the first 4 to 5 episodes, if you actually looked up basically Ragatha from the Amazing Digital Circus, you will see a lot of videos basically trying to deconstruct her character into being fake. Yeah,
and I never bought it, but again, it's like, I've met people like this, so it's like, it wasn't that hard for me to see. It's like, yeah, no, that's completely unreasonable. I also simp for Ragatha. All right, to be fair, there are only 2 characters if you're gonna do that, right? If you're gonna simp for a character in the Amazing Digital Circus, there's only 2 correct answers: Ragatha and Pomni. I don't even know how the fuck you could simp for Zubul or Gangle. Let's be perfectly honest. What the fuck what the hell's gonna go on here, right? At least these two are human in form, right?
It's the internet. I have seen weirder stuff. I have seen the Sonic forms.
Hold on, let me check the green site. Kianala says people hate Ragatha. I've seen people who go nut when they learn that only Jax and Pomni were the main characters. Yeah, that is... Well, they're not the only main characters, but yes, they are the two primary driving characters, right? But is doing something different even possible? Well, not anymore, it's not. Right? It's already done. You can't change the past. You can remember the past. You can use the past to inform your future, but dwelling on what has been does you nothing. Does no one nothing. Dwelling on what has been would not help Jax right now in any way, shape, or form. It's not going to help her in any way, shape, or form. What are you going to do? Dwell on I could have done this better? No, that's absolutely completely worthless. In fact, that's the exact problem. That's literally her abstracting in a more concrete sense, in the sense that she's removing herself from the concrete reality and dwelling in this hypothetical fantasy that she cannot actually obtain. So all that leads to is you pining over what could have been, right? Instead of as a result rejecting that which actually is. It's actually a really, really destructive way to deal with trauma. I will also check the green site out of a morbid curiosity. Report back your findings if you... Cough, Sonichu, cough, I have seen some shit. That's entirely fair. I can't believe Mudahar destroyed his relationship... Continue?
I was saying, if you think Sonichu is basically one of the worst things that happened in Sonic 10, oh boy, you basically have been on the lighter side of what's gone in fandom.
Yeah. Philip says, I mean, the person's baggage shapes their decision making if they let it. If they let it. You actually have the ability to use your reason and to actually step outside of yourself and re-examine what has happened to you and whether or not you're going to let it control you. You might need help to do so. That's
still the same way as...
Huh?
Isn't that still letting your baggage kind of shape who you are, but this time, instead of letting it keep you down, you're using it in order to make yourself grow better?
That's what I'm saying, right? Remember back in the olden days, actually, the original run of, Batman, right? It was oh yeah, Batman has always been traumatized in, the comics, right? But in the original Golden Age run, he's motivated by his trauma to make the world better. It's he's not actually possessed by the trauma. The trauma actually informed his decision to do this, and is not controlling him. It's only in certain later interpretations where Batman's trauma actually controls him. And this is a thing that real people can do too, right? Real people often let their trauma control them, or they can confront their own dragon to slay the dragon and then take control of their life from their trauma again. Yeah, sure, it will inform what happens, but it doesn't have to control the rest of your life, right? But anyway,
this is one of the reasons why I prefer the older Batman in origin stories, but
yeah.
We're veering off topic here.
683 uploads for Zubul, 1,143 uploads for Gangle. And people be doing freaky shit with that ribbon, apparently. That's why I love Batman. Exactly. Oh yeah, OG Batman was never edgy trauma. I don't mind if it has edgy trauma. It's just Batman should be motivated by his trauma, not possessed by it. But is the character written this way? No, she currently is not being written this way. She is letting her trauma possess her. But that's exactly the problem. That's why I'm pointing this out. 11,435 for Pomni, though. Any other characters we want to know? I guess Ragatha, probably.
I will point out that basically, Glitch and Goosework kind of knew basically how much of that type of artwork for Pomni was being made. So when they were announcing that this was turning into a full series and the pilot was becoming episode 1, they even made a joke about it.
That's fair. All right, I'm going to put this back on because, again, we're already an hour in stream and we're only 10 minutes in.
I still don't know why I did it. I needed to know he wasn't alone, that I was there for him. And I guess I just...
And this is why I don't think Ragatha is a narcissist, right? Obviously, she's focusing on her own pain right now, right? Because she is in intense emotional pain. But she's contextualizing, she's explaining why she was doing the things she was doing for Jax. She didn't want him to be alone, right? Well, it's like she's actually trying to be selfless. And ironically enough, this is part of what seems to have driven Jax away from her in the first place. 5,453 for Ragatha. Those are rookie numbers, son. We gotta bump those numbers up. I'm kidding, right? I'm kidding.
We're not 12 hours, are we?
Huh?
As if we're not finishing this before the 12-hour, are we?
Possibly. And yeah, right there. It's like she didn't want to lose any friends. This is the thing that got. This is probably what people were picking up when they were calling Ragatha fake. Is that she didn't want to lose any friends. That's not necessarily a selfish, It's not a selfless goal, right? But it's not a negatively selfish goal either. There is a good version of selfishness, right? Looking after your own self-interest for the sake of your own happiness. That's fine for her to do. Was it wise for her to do this? Maybe, maybe not, but that's not really a bad thing on her part. Check Jax. Oh god.
The chat is actually. The chat is basically the green check and the green site for everyone.
Yeah, they already did Zubul. They already did Zubul for Shizi.
You were the first real friend I made here.
633 for Jax. No, 6,133 for Jax. My bad.
I'm glad we're still
The
friends.
green's asking a lot of service today.
Right. There were so many people being like, "My doomed Yuri, yay!" And I'm like, I mean, technically it's Yuri because Yuri isn't always sexual or romantic. There are actually Yuri can just be about friendships. But yeah, that's not the Yuri they're looking for. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people that can look at this and not just accept that these are friends instead of just wanting them to fuck, right? I don't get it, right? Well, I mean, I do get it. They've never had a real friend in their life, but still.
Oh, the Star Wars scene, but change the droids to Yuri. These are not the Yuri you're looking for.
What are we gonna
Right.
do?
Make sure Gango, Zubul, and Kinger are okay.
See, this is a concrete thing that they can do, right? And that's a good thing because, again, this gets them out of their head and it gets them situated in the real world with real people, right? And it allows them to actually do something for the situation. I'm tired. Shoujo Ai? Yeah. Now, I'm a big Yuri fan, to be perfectly honest. But it's like, yeah, not every, like, relationship between two women that is close is fucking sexual, right? Like, again, close friends are a thing. I'm tired, bossy, exactly, right? Sad. A lot of people don't understand.
We need to have people making these series that, like, we need people who make these series to be people who actually have friends again.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't understand the different
real friends.
the different forms of love. Yeah, that's true.
They need someone like you right now.
Mommy, you've been one of the best things to happen to me since I got here. I trust you.
I've seen so many people look at this long walking and not realize, well, they understand that something's about to happen, but they don't realize what this is entailing.
Yeah. Actually, let me check something.
Because for those who didn't catch on, she told Ragatha to keep watch of everyone. She didn't say that they would keep watch of everyone.
Yeah. So she had a plan to do this already when when she left Ragatha, right? This was like she was thinking about how to help Jax, and this is a plan she already had. And this was a large part of this was a if I don't come back. Now Ragatha didn't know this, but part of this is a if I don't come back, look after the rest for me. Yeah, confirmation of friendship. Yep. And like in previous episodes, where they established that darkness calms down the abstractions.
I think a lot of people get confused by this thing, but Dragon must have need to remind people she saw Kane do this exact same thing.
Yeah. You're talking about the one where he taught, where Jax was listening, and then he downloaded all the information about the gun, the gun game test in his brain, right?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. We literally turned this into every frame of pause, right? A jester with a gun! Run! And so many people didn't understand this part. It was just fucking really strange. DMT Central? Possibly, right?
People still don't understand this.
Jax, I just want you to know that if you need anything, or if you need to talk to anybody, I'm here for you. I know you need it, and I'm the only person who can help you. You need me. I can fix you.
Notice Pomni never said anything like this. This is a thing that people invested in their own self-destruction, because there are people who invested in their own self-destruction, will project onto other people to justify why they're pushing them away.
And we've seen it happen hundreds of times.
Yeah. And you remember previous episodes when Jax is masking, what ends up happening, right? How did his eyes behave, right?
They start getting bigger. The pupils, at least.
What? We can't die from oxygen deprivation, remember?
And this is kind of interesting because I might, after this, if we have time, I might put it on a like stories of old video to react to, because there's something about, again, repressed anger that's kind of really interesting once you understand it in this series, right? Because, yeah, Jax is angry. He is angry at everyone, but he's particularly angry at Pomni for being the one to crack his mask. It's heavy, a little bit, right?
Jax is the type of person who has so many masks for protection.
Yeah.
It's what Zubul would have wanted. Remember, it's not a mourning of death. It's a celebration of life.
Sup?
Jax, why are you wearing that?
Wearing what? Oh, this! I figured what better way to honor Zubul's spirit than by wearing something all gender freaky, right?
You're just doing it to make fun of them.
Isn't that what you're doing?
I hate you.
What? Don't act like you don't like it, sweet cheek. Meet me in my room after the funeral. Don't be late.
It's, again, a real thing that happens more often than people would like to think.
Yeah.
Get back to work.
Okay. Yeah, every time I see this happen, that's basically my reaction. It's the same as Pomni's. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Right?
Just walk away and reach and go for the cake.
And when you see that kind of shit happen in real life, no, I mean like the very much the love, like alleged love-hate relationship, right?
So yes, you'll be surprised at the number of people who tried to use a funeral to pick up love interests.
Yeah, that also happens though. But not gonna lie, that also happens.
You killed the only person person I've ever loved. Now I'm going to kill you!
Sheesh, you just blame me for everything, don't you? I gotta do something about this.
I do love the Bugs Bunny part joke here.
I think this calls for a change in scenery.
Oh, this is Looney Tunes in general.
Yeah.
Just bugs.
That's all, freaks.
And right here, well, he's lost his head, right? Again, subtle as a hammer to the face, but yeah, he lost his mind, he lost his head, right? Out to lunch. Jax is going out to lunch, as, you know, again, an old euphemism. And notice the only one where Jax was actually taking himself serious was Pomni's, right? When it came to his interaction with anyone else, it was the only Pomni was the one that actually got him to even remotely have an authentic reaction to that. Everyone else was a joke, right? Like, Ragatha abstracts and Pomni reaches out because he cares about those two, even though he doesn't want to say it, right? That actually elicited a real response from him. But, you know, Zubul abstracts, doesn't give a shit. Yangle abstracts, doesn't give a shit, right? It's not that he doesn't give a shit, it's just he's able to mask with comedy about those two, right? But losing Ragatha, and then, but losing Ragatha and getting approached by Pomni, that actually cracked deeper, right? So it's kind of interesting about their relationships.
How the hell did you get in here? We have a strict no girls allowed policy.
Why are you wearing that? I wouldn't be caught dead wearing that.
I'm wearing it ironically. That way it shows truly just how little.
Nope, there is not a door for Pomni abstracts. I don't think Jax can even really fathom the idea.
I care.
There's the theory that the locked door
Don't forget
is
about
the door
me.
on Omni abstracts.
Possibly, but then it's also, then why is it so, like, tightly shut? Again, it's one of those things where it's like, probably worries about it, won't allow himself to think about it. Because remember, the whole thing is like, what would you do if I abstracted tomorrow? I'd move on and probably forget about you. Which was very obviously him masking. Very obviously didn't even really consider the problem, right?
Piano. You know, if you have to say you can play the piano, it makes it seem like you can't actually play. Yeah, just shut up and play!
Also, I love how the liquid's dead.
Really
Well, it's probably an alcoholic drink too, right? Make the pain go away.
think of us back there?
Oh, that? Who knows? Everything's way more fun when you play it out in extremes.
I know Teen Titans didn't do this originally, right? But this reminds me of the episode of Teen Titans where they go into Raven's mind and they see, like, the different masks. It was really the emotions in Raven's case, right? But it's like you go inside and you see the different masks. It's actually closer to the one in Little Witch Academia, actually, where they go into Susie's mind, because those are actually personas she puts on, not emotions she experiences. That's just McDonald's Sprite he threw. Okay. You know what? That did visually look like what McDonald's Sprite tastes like.
That's not reality, though.
Oh boy,
Why does that
reality's
matter?
gay. Yeah, I mean, killing off the comic relief character? What a freaking drag. This whole episode's been nothing but wah, wah, wah. Where's the levity?
Again, whatever's behind that door is something he can't mask through, right? But whatever's behind that door is not something he can deal with. All of his masks cracked for that one.
You're not gonna get anywhere asking questions like that. Now scram! You're messing up our game.
Do any of you have a key to this door?
Nope. And even if I did, I wouldn't give it to you. You women need to learn to quit prying all the time.
I don't know what it is Pomni threw, but it kind of looked like a shoe.
It's a bottle.
Was it a bottle? Oh shit! It is. Oh, it's the broken bottle. Okay.
Yeah.
hope
And
that
also,
doesn't
was
also
it-
happen to me.
Like, I love how it shows that, like, as strongly as Jax puts these masks on, they're so feeble that just one instance breaks him.
Oh yeah, you saw that in the first episode, right? And he was all fine with the adventure right up until, or the idea of the adventure right up until one of the fucking gloinks jumped up and like punched him in the face. He was like, all right, I've had enough of these things, right?
And we also saw when they first put him into the main outfit as well.
And this is closer to probably what Jax is actually like.
I like
Yeah,
to think
he's-
that this mask is right here is the suppress, is the part of him that actually cares about people that he constantly suppresses.
I think it's a little
Like
bit.
he's keeping it.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more than that. But yeah, I would agree. This is like the part of him that actually cares, as you said, about what people think about him. That's why he's changed to the performance. Oh, excuse me. And
You're not excused.
yeah, Pomni's understandably concerned.
I think anyone would be in this situation.
Yeah. Oh, I like that effect.
Also, I love considering.
I want to kill that guy. Said Crimson Rain. Fair enough. Yeah, the direct quotation. Yeah, from Jax previously. I do like this mixed media strategy that they had here.
It works perfectly for this series.
Yeah, it makes a really strong delineation between the real world and the world of the circus. And that he arrives.
Okay.
I do like the fact they don't
Wait.
show us putting him on the
Wait.
headset.
Yeah.
Whoa, it's okay. I know it's a lie.
Get away from me!
I look stupid.
I remember that feeling.
There are so many people simping for, and I know why. It's not that hard to figure out why people simp for characters, unless they're like fucking Gangle or Zooble. But there's so many people simping for Ribbit, and it's like, oh my god, people, calm down. It's just the frog. Do not the frog.
It goes away eventually.
I swear to you guys, if you kiss her, she's not going to turn into a princess.
Right.
Hot chocolate's pretty good. Kaufmo and I made it kind of a tradition to come up here and get it every week.
My man, Crimson already fucking looked. Ribbit, 508 entries on the green site. Just like Froppy.
Oh.
Oh,
The green,
you know what? To be fair,
on
though,
the green side this entire time.
he's like, hold on, I gotta check the numbers. The numbers! What do they mean? But, just like Froppy, look, man, I'm just saying, I don't really care. Face aside, right? Any man who marries a woman like Froppy is fucking lucky. I'm just saying, right? That would be an absolute wife. Anyway, I still have the tab open. Yeah, fair enough.
He went onto the green screen about 30 minutes ago. He's been on there since then. Why are you yawning so much on a stream?
Right? Oh my god. But anyone who married Froppy, absolutely, the frog is already a princess. Fair enough, right? But yeah, anyone who married Froppy in My Hero Academia's ending, absolutely struck gold with that one.
Can't even tell it's not real.
That's a horrifying statement.
Yes, we did it!
Shut up! You caught me off guard.
A laugh's a laugh. I mean, gotta start somewhere.
I'm just mad it was you instead of me.
This is the most unrealistic part. Women aren't funny. I'm just kidding. What that tongue do? Oh, god damn it. God damn it.
I will point out the voice actor for Cosmos basically has admitted that he didn't come back to write these lines, to speech these lines. These lines have been recorded since near the beginning of the series.
Yeah, but he still got paid for the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're not funny.
Damn it, Jax.
Hey, Ribbit, you want to be on my team again?
Sorry. I'm gonna be showing Jax around this time.
No worries, y'all have fun.
Again, these people, obviously no one's happy to be in the circus, but... God damn it, Fushizi. But anyway, but they're at least able to actually have fun and be happy, even though no one is really they're able to find some semblance of their happiness even in the digital circus, right? But no one actually wants to be in the circus. It's actually possible to make do with a bad situation. It just happens to be you have to choose to be able to make do with that situation, right? What's that thing that Yui Ikari says at the end of Evangelion, in the movie End of Evangelion? Heaven can be anywhere so long as you choose to live, right? Because it turns out happiness is actually a choice. Let's see. Crimson Rain says, wonder what the mind files contained between Kaufmo and Ribbit to specify give them those bodies. I can at least guess that Kaufmo considers himself a funny guy. Yeah, actually, I think that's exactly the implication there, right? As far as, like, Ribbit...
I will say...
Keep going.
I was saying, it's like, with Ribbit's design, I do like the placement of the bow. Most people will place the bow, like, around and like, on the neck or just slightly below. It's actually in a pretty perfect spot right there.
Yeah. Alright. As far as...
Sup, moron?
Yeah, again, you could tell that these two are actually friends.
Oh my god, same.
Yeah.
I used to swear so.
Our existence is the digital circus? I wouldn't say that. Maybe society as it is now is the digital circus, and existence in reality, right? Removed from the hyper-real impositions by the Gnostics that, run the world. Maybe that's a good analog for the digital circus, but I don't think these people who actually wrote the digital circus would agree with me on there. And I don't really think that they were trying to make a social commentary on here. I think this was mostly a character study. The Amazing Digital Slaughterhouse in some places, right?
So much, but the censoring annoyed the shit out of me.
You gotta watch out for her. She's gonna corrupt you.
Okay.
He's such a...
Fucking so many people that I was watching absolutely lost their mind at this exact moment. It was like, yo! And I'm like, calm down, people. Calm down. All right,
Straight women lost their mind.
Yeah.
Today's adventure was really fun.
I'm glad
I will say, though, this room reminds me of, like, a fucking VR chat room. Like, you ever go to... I know the... Yeah, it reminds me of those, like, just relax, chill, and possibly sleep in VR chat worlds. I'm not gonna lie.
I could cheer you up.
You ever done something that you regret?
Reminds you of Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Have you ever breathed air?
Oh, yeah, Kaufmo's based.
Something you did out there that you no longer make up for and you can't stop thinking about. I cut ties with my parents when I moved out. They were devout Mormons, and I wasn't. Despite that, I still wish I could see them again. But
Maybe a slight dig at VR chat? Possibly. I love VR chat, but, I mean, this could be modeled after VR chat as like a dig, to be perfectly honest.
Never been
I'm
in.
stuck here.
Is this your way of trying to get me to open up?
It's my way of letting you know I trust you.
But yes, Jax is actually right here. This is her way of getting him to open up. And for her to reject, for her to not be honest about that is a little bit disingenuous. But, the way that she's doing this is the way that if you want to talk religion or worldview to someone, this is actually how you do that conversation, right? Like, either you offer up, kind of, right? You can tell someone what you believe and then ask them what they believe, or you can begin the other way, right? You can ask someone what they believe, and if you ask someone what they believe, they will almost always open up and ask you what you believe. And the reason why is because reciprocity is hardwired into the brains of most people. If you do something for someone, oftentimes they want to do something for you in return, unless their brain is fucking riddled with is-at, right? But that's that's actually a common thing, right? So yeah, if you want to actually have a conversation with someone, oftentimes one of the ways to do that is you open up to someone, right? Or you allow yourself to open up to them, and then the conversation can actually be a real conversation and not just like a argument, in the complete abstract. Watch out for those Mormons. Well, to be fair, there's more than one kind of Mormon. She never specified what kind of Mormon. For all we know, she could have grown up in the fundamental Mormons, right? The actual cult group,
Only
right?
one way. Only one way to find out. Do they have the tandem bite?
But yeah, like she said that they were devout Mormons. Well, what do you mean by devout, right? Do you mean like the modern Mormon, like Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where it's like, yeah, these people are goofy, and yeah, to be fair, they have a history of doing certain wonky things, but at the same time, this might not be as common, but it's still something I could see happening with certain Mormon families, right? If it's FLDS, oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I could see this being absolutely a thing where it's like, nah, your communication with your family is just completely fucking cut. Let's see. Crimson says, what are they gonna do, Mom? Mormon me? Oh, god damn it. She's a soaker! What the fuck does that mean? the ones that steal Legos. Oh my god.
I think
her fucking family was part of the Mormon Mafia? Oh my god.
well, I'm not sure about if she's a. I'm not sure if she's a soaker, but at least she's a croaker.
Now, what a perfectly timed pun to get me to choke on my soda. Anyway, Mormon soaking, right? Oh my god.
I told you I was homeless. What else do you need to know?
You just me.
Yeah, but it's just...
Again, she's very obviously trying to get him to open up, right?
It's kind of a lot.
You're kind of a lot. But I still like you. A lot is fine.
Yeah. I do find it really interesting how many people said that this is just, oh, it's millennial writing. It's like, oh, I have a bad relationship with my parents. But it's like, well, I mean, if your parents are fundamentalist Mormons and then you leave the fundamental Mormon church and then you lose all contact with your family, I would imagine that that's not just millennial writing at that point. That's a real thing that actually does happen to people, and it's a thing that can really fuck someone up, actually, right? And this is actually one of the mechanisms that cults can use to control people, right? There are certain Jewish communities, for example, especially in the ultra-Orthodox, both Hasidic and Haredi, that will actually just like completely cut you off from all contact with your family if you leave, and even hold a mock funeral for you if you apostatize from their cult. It's a real thing that's happened to many people, right? And you can find this happening in a number of different groups. So it's like getting cut off from your family, be it for your own safety, is a thing that actually sometimes does happen, right? You don't think that this happens with like the Muslim community, right? Well, it's like, oh yeah, I left Islam, and we see what happens with certain, we see what families in Islam sometimes do to family that violate the honor code, right? There might be a real reason to cut off all ties with your family, right? I'm just saying.
Before we had the Muslims in the chat explode in anger, I would like to point out that basically, yeah, child having issues with their parents is a very millennial type of story. Guess what? It's literally a storytelling since the dawn of time itself. Yeah, you can find this in the story of you can find this in the story of like Shaka Zulu. You can find this in Greek myths. This is a thing that pops up from time to time, right? Because it is just a thing that happens throughout history. Millennials do over focus on it, but it doesn't mean that if it's actually being used well in the story that it's bad because it's, oh, I have problems with my parents, right? In this context, this actually makes sense. Hold on. Crimson Rain says excommunication is punishment, preying on our social evolution. Yeah. Philip says does create a divide. Fujizi says JWs do it too. Oh yeah, they definitely do that. Kuro says, I will say being given a mock funeral for apostasy is definitely preferable to creating a funeral for apostasy. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, again, when the Hasidic and Haredi, cults actually hold a mock funeral, it's still preferable to Islam, where it's like, again, they actually fucking kill you. I can understand going no contact for religious reasons, but the ones that go no contact for stupid reasons are insane to me. Yeah. Fundy religions are the biggest practitioners of Satanism. I can see that.
A lot is fine, huh?
I had a weird relationship with my parents. They split when I was just starting high school. I was never close with my dad. He was there, but he also kind of wasn't.
Yeah, we're gonna notice that like Jax was basically spawn camped. Just pointing that out there.
He never seemed proud of me, and I always felt like a disappointment to him. Like I could never live up to his standards. When they split up, I just never saw him again. I thought I got along better with Mom, but after he was gone, she changed. When I showed weakness, I was less of a man than him. When I lashed out, I was just as bad as him.
Yeah, again, part of this is, again, he didn't really have a father figure in his life to show him how to be a man in the first place, right? Which means that, and again, with men have very, very powerful emotions, right? But men, through the, again, emulation of a father figure, learn how to control their emotions. They learn how to control their impulses. And you can see that there are predictable effects to fatherlessness, right? And yeah, the fatherlessness and abusive maternal, background definitely explains a degree of Jax's behavior, right? It doesn't excuse it, but it does explain it.
It was confusing. It was like she missed him, but also hated him. And I became the target of all that.
That is also really fucking common.
This is also very common.
Yeah.
Like,
you and me both saw this one, and we're like, this fucking happens all the time. Oh my god.
It's like this situation right here is very, very common type of situation. Specifically in most single mother homes, because like she decides to either leave the husband because he's not living up to his standard, abusive or not, or because he decided to run off for milk and cigarettes.
Right. Yeah, it's because, again, your children, the son is the literal image of the father, right? And you can't get out. You're still angry at the father, but you can't get back at the father because he's no longer there for you to abuse. So then the only way for you to get back at him is to attack, the son. But the problem is the son is also your son. So this is also where I took a big umbrage with Jake Monroe when I was reading through the Rape Gang Inquiry Report. The 13 hours of me reading through that, right? Is and one of the things when he was talking about one of the victims, and he's like, a Pakistani child, and I'm like, my brother in Christ. Yeah, sure, his father is Pakistani, but that girl right there is that child's mother, right? So it's like, it is as much her bloodline as it is his bloodline. Absolutely cannot accept abortion in this situation, because you're not just killing his bloodline, you are killing her bloodline, right? Again, if anything, it is more her blood than it is his blood, because the only blood that actually goes, the only thing that he contributed was the genetic information. All the actual blood was actually contributed by the mother, right? All of those, there is still, even if you abort that child, that microchimerism in the brain, again, the mother and child actually exchange cells through the placenta, and some of those cells go from the baby end up in the brain of the mother, and some of those cells from the mother end up in the brain of the baby. It's a medical microchimerism thing. Right? By the way, and that's why in Catholic theology and in Orthodox theology, Mary is the first person to take the communion, right? Because through her placenta, she partook of the body and blood of Christ before anyone else, right? So fun fact about old school Eucharistic theology and Mariology, right? But again, that's her child, right? So it's like, yeah, sure, born in an evil way, but you can't just obliterate the fact that that's her baby just because the dad is evil and it was conceived in an evil way, right? You just fuck it. Oh my god. Where's placenta mentioned? Where's Kirsch, right? Let's see. I think pretty low of most single mothers. There are exceptions, but I think still think low of them. A lot of them are single mothers by choice. Let's be fair. Let's see. We talking about UK inquiry spawn camped or something less? Not that bad, right? Jax wasn't spawn camped that bad, right? Let's see. Boo Huckley says...
But it was still spawn camp.
Yeah. Boo Huckley says the absolute worst part of these cults is the marketable names, is how boring they are. Yeah. So, Jax is absolutely the result of paternal negligence and maternal abuse, which is a thing that does happen. Because it's like...
And the mother who abused him, not only because he represent his father, but represent the fact that she loved the wrong person.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, is it even the wrong person? Because it's like, from what we hear from Jax, he didn't actually seem abusive. He just seemed potentially distant. And the mom seems actually very abusive. It could very well be, and we can't know because they don't explain this, it could very well be that, honestly, he's just had the spirit beat out of him over time. And, like, he had no way to protect the child, because it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to divorce the child, and then the mom's going to go for full custody, possibly make shit up about you in order to make sure you have as little... Well, I mean, the divorce the dad, but anyway. And then do all that she can...
Divorcing the dad?
Alright, I'm going to mute you.
Your mouth is moving faster than your brain.
Alright, so, yeah. Long story short. Long story short. Oh, you didn't even make a fucking... Okay, I muted me instead. My bad. There we go. There we go. There we go. There you go. Yeah, muted. Hold on, let me unmute you. Okay, anyway, but you know what I'm saying, you fucking cunt. Anyway, so, yeah, let's get back to the thing.
But funny enough, because you did that, you actually showed off the graphic of what happens when my mic speaks.
I know, that's how I realized, oh shit, hold on, I accidentally muted myself instead of you. Let's see. Kionella says, I'm not Catholic, but I do have a necklace of Mother Mary in my car, and joke she saved my ass from a lot of close encounters and from human error, right? Fushizu says, just once, I want a cult name to name itself something like the Drinkers of the Holy Goo... Fair enough. But, yeah. So, long story short, Jack seems to be the victim of paternal negligence, which we don't know the context of. It could very well be that he just didn't have a way to defend his son against the abuse of the mother. And he just didn't have a way to protect himself from it either, right? So we don't really know the background context. Not that it fucking matters, right? Because he still abandoned his son. And she still abused, her son. So it's like...
One stupid day, I was just kind of fed up with it. I told her something I regret telling her. Something deep and personal that I thought would get her off my back. But she laughed at me. Then she went off on me, and it didn't stop.
Yeah, again, she belittled him the entire time, and yeah, again, the laughing at him too is part of the abuse, right? In this case, right? Because like you're trying to, you finally explode, you finally let it out, and then the entire thing is minimized by just laughing at him, right? The entire purpose here is to make him feel small and insignificant, which is, by the way, again, why he projects his own problems on later, which he didn't have to do. He chose to do that, right? But he went on and he made other people feel small to, make himself feel bigger, because that's exactly what his mom did to him.
Personal,
degrading, not with him.
Yeah.
Insults that felt like it went on forever. And despite all that, the thing that bothered me most was, at the end of all of it, she hugged me.
This scene right here, this part right here disgusted me, to be perfectly honest. I think this disgusted you too, right? This is some Darvo level shit right here, right? Where it's like, out of all this, I still care about you. It's like, well, why did you go on this fucking tirade the entire time, right? Why'd you belittle your son to this point if you actually care about him, right? Oh my fucking god. Yeah,
we were eating when we were watching this thing, and I nearly gagged out my own food when I heard that line.
Yeah, because it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, obviously the point here is to cause, like, very profound confusion. Like, this is a thing that, like, again, absolutely being gaslit. She's trying to make him feel like he's losing his fucking mind. Oh, my God. But anyway.
I didn't know what to do. So I panicked, and I pushed her off me with all the force I could. She fell backwards. And she didn't get up. I didn't know if she was just trying to make me feel bad, or... I never found out the answer.
Even if she allegedly wasn't trying to make you feel bad, I mean, this is still mental abuse. She's still doing this. This is being done to hurt you, right? And yeah, obviously this is abuse. This is obviously her trying to do this to hurt him, right? You can come up with all the personal, like, vindications you want, you know, to try to explain it. But nah, this is absolutely Darvo and abuse. But, yeah.
Also, I would like to point out, like, a lot of people were confused out of the scene of asking if she hit her head on something on the way down. Yeah, she did. It's called the floor. You'll be surprised on how much damage if you hit the back of your head on the floor while falling.
No, it's just an attack to the back of your skull in general is more dangerous to an attack on literally the face plate, right? Because the face plate is thicker.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, as you said, yeah, she hit her head on something. It's called it's called the floor, right? As you said. Let's see. Philip says, I can only imagine the feeling. Torture and soothe.
And
yeah.
We'll see later.
You going?
It's like what we'll see later on, the area where the part of the room where she hit her head on the floor. Yeah, the area of the house where she hit her head on the floor tends to be a place that has not a soft flooring to land on.
Well, I mean, even if you hit like a carpeted floor, it's gonna fuck you up. Kianala says mental abuse can be worse than physical abuse. Oh yeah, especially because like if you're a man and you're being mentally abused by a woman, you can't really defend yourself, right? If you scream at her, you're in the wrong. If you like try to get away, you're in the wrong. If you use physical force to try to get it to stop, you're in the wrong, right? There is literally no acceptable way to get out of the situation.
Stand there and take the abuse. You're in the wrong.
Yeah, because you're literally... Yeah, so it's like, there's no way as a guy out of it. This is fucking Cure Mom level of unhinged. Yeah, that's exactly my fucking point! Oh my god. And yet, you know what, as you said... Remember, hold on. And as you said, Fuchizi, the Cure Mom thing, right? What is the thing the Cure just said? She basically, in that entire thing, in the Cure Mom files, can summarize the entire thing of, there but for the grace of God go I, right? And that's the entire fucking point of this story, I think, is there but for the grace of God go I. But anyway.
Just without the religious
I just
context.
ran as far away from it as I could. Whatever I did to her, I'll never know. I guess there's a lot of things I regret about that day.
You thought the Mormon thing was bad. Ruben's just like, damn, that just put my story into perspective. I got fucking mogged.
It's a scene from Steven Universe where after Steven told the high schoolers about his trauma and they're all just shut up because they realize that their trauma is nowhere near as much as his.
You're like, oh damn, man, all my problems are just put into context, right? Fuji's just learned to use physical force and suffer the consequences. I mean, that's one way to do it.
Yeah, but as I said, like when I was thinking about millennial writing, I was waiting for a specific scene. This is the scene that I was kind of waiting for. It's like because I know, and I did mention Steven Universe. I know it's not the first one to have done it, but it's kind of the focal point where a lot of the people who do write this type of therapy speech tends to actually cite their source, which for the most part, I'll be honest, I hate these therapy speech scenes.
I actually give this one a pass because it actually makes a point.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. It's like, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, this is one of the few times I have actually seen where the therapy speech actually works for the story, but almost every single time I've seen people just use the therapy speech I can summarize into one sentence, into one word: lazy.
Yeah. Well, the thing
This one right here. Yeah, this one right here, they actually put into the work in order to make the scene actually work.
I'll go a step further. This actual scene undermines the entire point of the therapy scene in fiction, right? Or the cult of therapy, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, you need therapy. It's like, do you need therapy, right? Because it turns out therapy actually can't fix your problems. Unless they're specifically tailored to problems that therapy can actually address. A therapy is not a catch-all. There are actual problems therapy cannot actually fix. Sometimes the way that you fix a problem is you go out and you actually, do things, right? You actually find something to do with your life, right? Sometimes the way that you get the problem fixed is not by going to therapy, but by, actually talking with your friends and actually doing things with your friends, right? Sometimes you don't always need to go to a therapist. You're supposed to go to your friends and your family first, and then to a therapist when that doesn't work, right? So it's like, again, the cult of therapy is like everything can be solved by therapy. All therapy became is just like a magical version of confession. That's all it did.
Also, I like to point out the same people who basically put therapy speeches into all their works and basically, as you state, claim that therapy is the answer to all these problems. Spend their entire life and years upon years in therapy for the exact same issues, and there's no sign of any progression.
Yeah, that was a complaint when I had to work with clients that were going to therapy. Was like, I don't really see any improvement in this. Sometimes the therapy you need is a giant anime. Sometimes you can also just get over a problem by yourself. There are times where it's like a problem you have is something you can, through introspection and then action, so the two together, right? Is something you can fix on your own.
Therapy is not the only solution. Sometimes you just need the big titty animes, as I said. Sometimes you need a pipe wrench to the face.
But
multiple ways to solve your problem.
But here it turns out, like, again, there's no real therapist in here, but here we see the thing where it's like, yeah, the whole therapy thing wouldn't have worked on Jax.
I'm sure she's fine. I mean, if the police never came after you, then she was probably fine.
And Ribbit actually has a decent point here, right? I mean, if she had died, the police would definitely be looking for his ass, right? They're like, oh yeah, the son lived...
Again, we don't know how long it's been since he basically left his home and got put into the digital circus.
We do know it's
the time span of that.
Okay, yeah, we don't know that time span.
I'm sorry. I definitely overshared.
Wait. I'm glad you trust me.
Shit. This is embarrassing.
Well, that's a very cute touch. Apparently, there's a lot of people who took this as like in-world confirmation that Jax is trans, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Anyone who says this is fucking retarded. Or a bad actor, to be perfectly honest. They either don't know how to read, basically, or they're trying to make something out of something that's not there. It's just fucking ridiculous, but okay.
I do know that I believe Goosework, after this episode, basically did put out a statement stating that Jax is, and kind of based off the fact that his voice actor is also quote unquote considers himself trans, but it's like it doesn't really fit this scene, and I'll be honest, it doesn't. It's like being trans doesn't help Jax's character at all.
Yeah, there's nothing in the actual text of the thing that actually leads anyone to believe this. If you actually have to get something out of the direct mouth of the creator that is not in the text, it wasn't in the fucking text. It's that simple. It's like, oh yeah, J.K. Rowling's like, oh, hold on. Like J.K. Rowling's like, oh yeah, Slytherin helped with the final battle between like Voldemort and Hogwarts. It's like, well, why didn't you put that in the fucking book, right?
Okay, it's like. Can we stop with authors basically adding in these type of needless supplementary after the work is done that does nothing to the actual story?
This is why this is yeah. Hold on, this is why I reject intent.
Trying to clarify.
Okay, keep on.
I was saying if you're basically trying to do something like what the creator of Invincible did, it's like be surprised on how people interpret their character stats when you're trying to portray something else. Like that is one thing, but something that he actually has been improving upon when it came to the actual the anime. Improving upon when it came to the Amazon series, but when it comes to stuff like, oh, Jack Strand, oh, Slytherin helped the battle with Hogwarts and Voldemort, or oh, the werewolves in the story are an allegory of slavery. I forget which story that was, but I do realize that. Remember that was also like a narrative. But yeah, it's like if I'm sick and tired of authors basically coming in with dumb explanations to questions no one asked, no answer has actually been needed, and the actual answers you give just make the story worse.
Well, the solution to this is to just not accept intentionalism. If the author's intention doesn't matter, if only what they actually produce is worth actually studying, then it doesn't really matter what they intended to do. What matters is the thing that they actually put out. Which, by the way, is the only way to objectively evaluate anything when it comes to art, because the only thing you actually have access to in the objective reality is the actual final product that they put out, right? But anyway, yeah, Fushigi makes a hold on. Philip says there's a series called In Treatment where every character's fate ends up worse the longer the therapy goes. Yeah, because a lot of modern therapy isn't actually aimed to help you solve your problems. Some of it is actually aimed to make it worse. Fushigi says, all right, why the fuck are they choosing the character that self-deletes to identify with? They're never going to beat the allegations. Also, secret third option, bad actors that are really dumb. Yeah, so it's like, again, there's nothing in the series that leads me to believe that Jax is trans, and even if he is trans, are you telling me that your trans representation in this case is Jax, the person who abuses everyone around him and then kills himself? Not exactly good trans representation, right?
I mean, it's very accurate.
It's accurate to a subset that's not really trans. We're talking autogonophiliacs and we're talking queers here. Something shoe fits, right?
Yeah? I mean, now's not a good time. Or now's fine. What do you want?
If now's a bad time, I can come back later.
That would be cool. Good. All right. So, if you ever tell anyone about this, I'm never speaking to you again. Sound good?
Does this sound like what happened with Ragatha? something if the butt is... I'm not reading that.
Yeah, I won't.
Awesome. Bye.
Oh, God.
Why am I such an idiot? Why am I such an idiot? Why am I such an idiot?
Yeah, a very colorful chat.
Right?
Hey, Jax.
And now Jax does Darvo.
Look, about yesterday. I'm sorry if I pried too hard or made you feel uncomfortable or...
What are you talking about? Oh, you mean... you know none of that was real, right? What, that corny backstory out of a Hallmark movie? Nah. Really got you, though. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Hey, wanna team up?
Nah, I'm teaming up with Kaufmo. Maybe next time, though.
I actually heard they're supposed to look like that. Hey, you wanna team up?
Nah, I'm with Kaufmo.
Well, it's not just that it spreads through abuse. People choose to do that, Fushizi. Yeah, most luckily, that's basically what I was thinking, too, because I knew exactly where this was going to go. As soon as he said, I'm never speaking to you again if you say anything about this, like, fuck, okay, I know how this is going to happen. So you keep going?
Also, this is great storytelling, because you can basically understand what Jax's facial expression is in just about all these scenes, even though we're not seeing his face at all.
Yeah, but let's see. Philip says that's horrible in many ways. Yeah, again, what happened to Jax is inexcusable, but what he's doing right now is also inexcusable.
Okay.
And sadly, it's an issue that happens a lot.
Yeah.
No idea.
Especially nowadays when basically every method to control, to understand how to control our emotions
I'm gonna hang out in the cafe.
Torn down.
Okay? Why are you telling me this?
I don't know. Hey, Jax, can we talk?
Oh yeah, the snow globe, right? Easily see he cannot take getting close. Yeah, exactly. Again, you're absolutely right, Kura. In this case, like, he got a benefit momentarily from tasting what it's like to actually let someone close, right? But as soon as Kaufmo came in, who he wasn't comfortable with, he immediately recognized the danger that getting close could put him in, and he immediately defaulted to, this is too dangerous, I need to shut down completely. And you know,
because Ribbit was the person who basically opened up and got close to, he now sees her as basically the danger.
Yeah. No, it's not even
the risk of having her open him up.
It's not even the danger. It's not even the danger. He's upset with Ribbit because she got him to open up in the first place.
Yeah.
So he's angry with Ribbit for actually being the one. Yeah, so that he's actually deeply angry with Ribbit for exposing the mask as like being exactly that, a mask. Attack on Titan has nothing compared to the fumbling. Fair enough. Turtled up, yeah, fair enough. It's exactly what happened. And, you know, that's basically what the abstraction did to him right now, although the abstraction is an allegory for something else, let's be fair. This is just the story of modern males. It kind of depends. Some of them, not all of them.
What is there for us to possibly talk about?
I don't know.
And I genuinely don't think it's as many as people think it is, to be perfectly honest.
Just whatever I did, whatever's going on between us, can we just stop this? I miss talking to you.
We're here. We're talking. What else do you want from me?
I just want to be friends again.
What? So you can pry into my personal life and hold it over my head?
Is that really what you think?
What do you think his mother did to him? Oh, the fumbling. So the fumbling is a meme about like how Jax fumbled really hard with Ribbit, as in Ribbit was a baddie, and Jax absolutely fumbled that, you know, the opportunity to get with the baddie, right? But yeah, I don't even remember where I stopped. Oh wait, Doctor, why did I stop this in the first place? What was I making a commentary on?
Basically, about about her being surprised that he sees her going to lower his emotions over his head because that's what his mother did.
Yeah, it's like, you want to know why he's thinking that? Because that's probably what his mom did. It's probably that he saw that every time his dad said something to his mom, it got thrown in his face, and that every time he ended up letting something out. Want to guess what his mom probably did? Fushizi said, "We are told to be strong, so we become unfeeling strength. Then when we get told we're not emotional. Then we open up and it gets used against us." Okay, yeah, if that's what you mean, then yes, it is the story of modern males, yes. Very commonly. He really croaked up. Yeah, I would agree.
This can't be what you want.
What? Because you know me so well. Because we're such super close best friends. So we know everything about each other.
We were great friends, and I'm sorry if you're crying, but I don't want this one stupid mistake to be the thing that ends all of this.
And again, he's mad. You see how mad he actually is, right? And that's because that her actually getting him to open up actually cut really deep, right? Because it made him confront the fact that, like, oh yeah, it made him bring something up that hurt him deeply, and now bringing that back up to the surface to actually confront it, because it turns out you don't have to reopen a closed wound, but if the wound has not actually healed, it still needs to be addressed. And in this case, Jax very clearly did not heal from the wound that Ribbit was trying to help him address, right? That's why she was doing that.
It not only did not heal, but as we'll see, it became infected.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, Ribbit was trying to help, but the fumbling meme is only 2 days old. Memes have a very short and fast life cycle.
Why are you still fixated on that night? Nothing happened! You keep reading into things when there's nothing there!
If there was nothing there, you wouldn't be this fucking mad about it, right? There's at least something there, even if it's just, you won't fucking let it go. That's the thing that's there.
You're the one using me! You're manipulating me!
I'm sorry. I'll leave you alone.
Hey, if Ribbit ever says anything about me, just know it's not true.
Okay, that's fucking disgusting, but okay.
What?
But also a very common issue we see.
Hey, Ragatha, what was that movie you were talking about earlier?
Huh? Wait, when was I...
Remember, she promised to not to leave Jax alone, so any place where Jax appears, she's gonna avoid, which means that he is isolating her by being in the places that she used to be.
Oh, you mean yesterday?
Hang out with the people she used to hang out.
Yep.
Hey, Jax, have you seen Ribbit at all today?
Again, he very clearly still actually cares, even if he can't get it through his thick fucking... Even if he can't actually open up because he's too afraid of the possibility of being fucking stabbed in the heart again, right? Yeah, he still went to her door.
Admitted to himself.
Yeah, so it's still there. In fact, he went twice, right? Third time's the charm.
Yeah. And third time was too late.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, originally in the first episode, obviously abstraction is a analog for madness, right? So it seems to be very consistently in the last episode an analog for suicide.
Hey, look, we were friends, but I know you two were especially close. Just...
And again, no one knew that this was going on. So all of this that happened
Also,
between
I like
Ribbit and, Jax, it doesn't seem like anyone else knew that this was going on.
Also, I like to point out that wording he did, we were friends.
Well, in this case, I think that they're still friends right now, right? Because, again, you can still talk about, work can still be used to describe things that still exist. Like, we were friends, but I know you two were especially close. Doesn't mean that they're no longer friends still. It just means that, he understands that that they were not nearly as close as Ribbit was. Because he's talking in the past tense, because he's talking about, their relationship with respect to each other and Ribbit. Let's see. Kionella says most memes do last. Most memes do some last. Let's see. Kionella says, is there going to be a season 2 or is this it? This is so far planned to be it, and I think it's a good idea that this is just it. I don't think this needs a season 2, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, Goosework herself basically stated that this was going to be the finale, and after basically everything that the fan base kind of did to her, when basically leading up to this, she doesn't want to touch the series again. So if any type of additions to the series happen, like any books, any specials, they're basically done by Glitch. They're not done by her.
Yeah, Fushizi does actually have a point. Sometimes the use of tense doesn't necessarily imply time. It can be used to, or, in an absolute sense, it can be used to contextualize what you're talking about in a relative sense.
if you need anyone to talk to.
Do I look like I need someone to talk to?
This is where Kaufmo's relationship with Jax probably starts breaking down.
I know it's hard. Just don't be afraid to reach out to me. I promise.
And again, Ragatha doesn't want to lose any more friends. And Jax probably made that an ultimatum, is if you want us to continue to talk to each other, you will never speak about Ribbit again. Basically, Taurus ruined a chance at another season. Honestly, I think this is fine as a single season thing, right? I actually genuinely don't think this needs a second season. If anything, a second season might actually degrade this.
I don't think Goosework was ever planning for like a second season. I know there have been talks of potential second season, but I think she was basically talking about like potential like specials or maybe maybe a comic or a novel about the series. But nothing. But everything that she said, nothing about it basically ever indicated that an actual full second season.
Fumbling the baddie Cosmo hurts the most. Boo Huckley's like, everyone in the fandom's looking for like the doomed Yuri. I'm looking for the doomed Yowie, right? Oh my god. Fair enough.
It's shippers like you that make me sick. Please continue.
Please continue. Make me more content, right? You know what? It's time. And you know what? Gangle appears right when this deal is made, too. What an in-fucking opportune time.
Yeah.
How about we call her Gangle? That sounds about as pathetic as she looks.
What?
Great choice, Gangle. I'll be sure to add that right into the system.
And again, this seems like, Ragatha and Kaufmo are very clearly not comfortable with this. And this seems... It almost looks like this seems wildly out of character for Jax, who's probably always been a goofball, but this is probably a huge escalation of his, again, being not just a goofball, but malicious about, like, how he behaves.
Not only that, but it's like this also potentially explains why he keeps on bullying Gangle, is because he's still frustrated about the situation that happened with Ribbit, so he's taking out all that frustration out on her.
Kaufmo has 58 entries on the green site, 187 for abstracted vert. Goddamn. Goddamn. Fushida says, yeah, I feel like... Yeah, I feel like shows need to realize when to pull the plug more often. Some things are fine to go on perpetually, but most things definitely need an ending.
Yeah, if a series is designed to potentially go on for a long time, it doesn't really hurt all that much, but if you have like a clear set ending, then yeah, you might want to just stick to that.
Like right here, this face looks like this actually looks like, to me, Ragatha is actually taken aback by how he's being treated. About how she's being treated. So this leads to my particular conclusion again that maybe Jax's behavior severely took a downturn because of Ribbit's abstraction. Keep going. What'd you say?
And this is the first time we've actually seen him actually be physical against someone.
Yeah.
Jax, look, I know we don't get along, but I think I might have found a way out of here.
Have fun being crazy.
Yeah, again, the Kaufmo going endlessly about finding some kind of exit, and he probably abstracted from losing his mind regarding, again, the exit that was a fake exit. One Piece needs to end. One Piece does have an end. It does have an end. There actually is a planned ending for One Piece. It just, again, it's a very long story.
And it looks like, and it looks like that Oda is setting up everything to reach that conclusion.
Yeah. Let's see. I can't wait to rewatch this stream with a bottle of wine to sip every time you say fair enough. Well, make sure to not damage your liver, right?
And I should just play along until I wake up, right?
Whatever you say, kid. You never know until it's too late. You're not looking too good. You gonna cry? Looking like this?
And right here, he's got to beat himself down in order to actually keep the mask on, too, right?
I'd move on. And probably forget about you.
Hey. I didn't know you could play the piano.
I only know like 2 songs. Why are you here? You know everything now. So why are you here? Just to rub every mistake I've ever made in my face?
Again, he's catastrophizing. He justifies the way he lashes out because the thing is he thinks about the worst possible thing that could happen, and then he treats it as a given that that's what's going on, right? So, and again, again, we call this catastrophizing. But
and which basically happened. The worst thing that can happen in this digital space is abstracting,
yeah.
which went to him.
This is also the thing that really annoys me.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, this is also the thing that really fucking annoys me about people. Where it's like, oh yeah, it's the show where basically nothing happens and no one's in any real danger. It's like, I don't know, losing your mind for all of time seems like a pretty fucking huge thing to, like, it seems like a pretty fucking huge risk, right? Yeah, sure, nothing else can kill you. But if the options are between, like, again, just, no physical damage versus, again, unending psychological, like, fracture that is completely unmendable. I think one of these things is, like, I think this is an actual real piece of danger, right?
Yeah.
I'm a terrible person.
I mean, I think Jax knew this the entire time, right? That's why he put the mask on. That's why he was like, oh yeah, none of this is real, right? Because if it was real, that's why he freaked out the last episode when he realized some of the stuff is actually real. Is that if this is real, he's kind of a monster, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, it's a psychological drama, exactly. I would infinitely want to be mortal and sane than immortal and crazy. Exactly, right? It's kind of hard to come up with a worse alternative than abstraction, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Is that what you want me to say?
Again, yeah, very obviously, yeah, in the kitchen, it looks like. Hold on, let me...
Terrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the kitchen, almost never carpeted for a reason. Tile floors or wooded floors almost all the time.
Is that what you want me to say?
Yep.
And then, yeah, there's his mom. And anyone who's paying attention remembers what this scene is, right?
I already know I am. So why does anybody still care about me?
Is his dad abandoning him?
Care?
And again, it's like, I'm a bad person, so then why does anyone still care about me, right? Spilled the McDonald's Sprite everywhere, right? Oh my god. But yeah, like that thing is like, why does anyone still care about me? First of all, I'm a bad person. Second of all, my parents didn't even care about me, right? So again, it's a whole thing of like, I wasn't given the things that I believe I'm due for. So again, reality is the problem. And then when people try to give you that thing that you actually want, you catastrophize because you've only ever really known people that give you something only to then hurt you in return, right?
You're not supposed to miss me. You're not supposed to love me.
And right there's the thing. There is the thing, right? You're not supposed to miss me. You're not supposed to love me. That's why he pulls away from everyone, right? He already has a narrative in his head that he believes, is the way things are, right? And every time something attacks that belief in the way things actually are, he kind of collapses because he can't really envision reality outside of that because he won't let himself envision anything outside of that because the cost of being wrong is too high, right? So you automatically keep going.
Shizi basically see, I'm such a bad person. Why do you still care? Despite you and love you.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like they care about him because they love him. He thinks that that they're doing this is to spite him.
Yeah, that's a good point. But hold on. Kionamo says, I know people will disagree with me, but I think a special where the abstracteds are reversed would be nice to have some resolution and a start of healing, but I doubt that will happen. Still would be nice. I think it would kind of undermine the entire arc here, to be perfectly honest, but I do get what you're saying. Fushizi, I'm such a bad person, but why do you still care? To spite you and love you, right? Crimson says...
I just read that.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Crimson says, does this mean Jax is immune to developing a gambling addiction? Oh, for the love of...
I think he's immune to developing any type of addiction.
Yeah, and again, remember that episode where he pushed Pomni off of her after the gun game and he looked at his hand? And yeah, this is the context. And we should have, I already put this together when he mentioned it earlier, but yeah.
And it's the exact same hand he was looking at.
Yep. Because again, Pomni got close to him, but the only time he has ever experienced someone getting close to him was for someone to try to hurt him. So then his immediate response is, I need to get away, this is danger, right?
And the last time he got away from someone with such an extreme measure, it hurt.
Please.
Yep.
Leave me alone. You're making this so much harder.
And you know what? Pomni is absolutely in the right for making this harder.
You're making this so much harder.
I'm going to pause this here because I think that, hold on, I think this is it, right? Yeah. Because this is probably where it will make the most sense for me to read this, right? This is the thing I posted 6 days ago on Nuxtaku's thing. So Nuxtaku, I think I disagree with his assessment on what abstraction is in this case. So I posted to him as a response, and apparently people agree with me. But I don't think you're supposed to see Jax as a victim of society, because yeah, he went on this whole like sociology thing, which I think is the wrong reading. But rather as a victim of his own vanity. Nothing in the show indicates that he's justified in his behavior, just that people love him despite his sin. People want to save him because they see the good intrinsic in him that he himself is snuffing out. But ultimately, you cannot save the ones you love, be they a friend, family member, a spouse, etc. I got a lot of parallels with Jack's extraction and a suicide attempt, which leaves enough time for a final conversation, which almost always results in the perpetrator realizing they don't actually want to die, but which is irreversible. This sometimes happens with lethal ODs, where Narcan can bring a patient back to Earth even if the damage is fatally irreversible. Let's see. And, yeah, apparently didn't expect to see you here. By the way, you're in the video now, right? Didn't expect to see you here in the video. It's part of being uncomfortable. Never let them know your next move, right?
Videoception.
Yeah, so I might as well respond to this too since we're here. Shadu1141 said, I'm not sure what Gooseworks' intended lesson to learn from Jax was, or if there even was one. Well, we're currently going through it right now, right? You may be right, or maybe the obnoxious Redditor saying the good ending is Jax just accepted himself as a girl is what Goose had in mind. I don't think you can pull a single thing from the actual text of this, like, story and come to that conclusion. I think even entertaining this conclusion is kind of an act of futility, right? Because there's no way that a person not already possessed by the ideology of queer theory could actually read the story and come to that conclusion. You have to bring that ideology with you into the conversation to even come to this conclusion. Let's see. Or perhaps Gooseworks just wanted to portray Jax as a realistic depiction of some of the problems and insecurities he has faced in the past. That could be the case. Oftentimes people do draw from personal experience because they can actually understand personal experience, right? Regardless of the author's belief, which, to be fair, I don't think the author's beliefs are actually relevant to this conversation, I think he did a great job portraying Jax as a realistic person. I would agree. Someone who, whether they had trans thoughts or not, was an incredibly broken, troubled, and cruel person who refused to face up to his demons, even when people who actually love him were trying to help him. And you know, I would agree with this assessment. So, I agree with your view that Jax is a victim of his own actions and pride. Like so many other people who grew up in abusive households, he could have still faced that trauma and overcome it, especially with the help of others around him. And let's be fair, he had plenty of opportunity for help. Ragatha was trying to help him. Pomni was trying to help him.
Basically, nearly everyone in the circus tried to help him.
Even Zubul tried to help him at one point, right? The only person who didn't really try to help him was Gangle, because Gangle was a victim of his actual abuse, right?
Yeah.
And a Kinger, because guess what? Kinger was just insane all the time. There was no way for him to reach out or even know that Jax was going through this. Hell, fucking even Kaufmo, like reached out. Rivet reached out. Everyone reached out to him except for the people who literally couldn't have, and he rejected it the entire time, right? It's almost like watching someone choose hell, right? And at the very end, instead of like actually taking the opportunity to like choose heaven, right? But anyway, let's see. Though I can also see how some progressives, and there's our problem right there, right? would swear up and down that Jax is a victim of our evil, prejudiced society, and he can't be blamed for the actions that came from that. To be fair, I think this would be a legitimate reading if they didn't talk about solely the parents, if they actually talked about society. Notice, because in Marxian thought, in Marxian literature, it is society as it currently is that is the villain of the story, right? That has to be overturned and reformed. At no point.
And as we'll see at.
Yeah, at no point.
At the end of this episode, we'll see that society is not the villain.
Exactly. So I was like, I actually think it's actually pretty easy to shoot down a Marxist view of this story. Funny enough, I guarantee you Gooseworks is a leftist, right? But I actually think you can shoot down the majority of leftist interpretations of this by just pointing out, it's like, that's not in the text. You literally have to infer this from outside the text in order to make this work, which means that it's not that kind of a work in the first place, right? It's like painting a hyper-realistic painting and then saying, oh yeah, but it's here's my newest work of abstraction. It's not abstract. You made a hyper-realistic painting, right? You can call it abstract all you want, but it's still hyper-realism, right? It's just objectively not the thing you're calling it. Anyway.
And vice versa.
So both views can be understandably concluded from this episode, depending on one's morals and worldview. I don't think this is the case. I actually think you can, like, actually make a compelling case that one of these worldviews is actually completely unreasonable given the context. And I think that is pretty good sign of that your story, your art is good. I actually disagree with this part. Because an objective standard of art is that, like, again, the objective standards that you can use to evaluate art against are things like claritas, consonantia, and integras. So claritas is clarity. Is the art itself clear or is it muddied? Consonantia or consonance is the idea of harmony. Are the units in there, in the art, actually harmonious with each other, or are they completely dissonant with each other, right? Or do they create a whole, or do they create a scattered, disorganized mess, right? And finally, you have integras, which is the idea of it can't be parts, it actually has to compose a whole, right? And in this case, it's like, I think if your story is such that you could have like 1,000 different interpretations of it, I actually think you may have failed the clarity issue. To be perfectly honest, right? I think you might actually
situation all over again.
Yeah, it's like, because the whole point of art is to concretize a metaphysic, a view of man and his life, right? Or a selective recreation of reality, even if through symbolic means, right? So if that's the case and it's completely unreadable from an objective standpoint, you actually might have failed as an artist in this particular effort. But that's just me, right? And I don't think that there is really a compelling argument for the social view of this particular like story. I genuinely don't think it is, right? If you could find me a way to argue this from within the text itself without any kind of external reference, then I will let you have that case. But as you yourself have said, later in the story, we actually get to see that society isn't actually evil, right? The real world isn't actually evil. Hell, even the circus isn't actually even evil either, right? So this kind of undermines the entire Marxist reading of the story. It actually undermines the queer reading of it too, to be perfectly honest. Let's see. Boo Huckley says sins of the mother. Yeah, but that's not a societal thing. That is a again parent to child thing. It's again all about personal relationships and personal decisions. But in the Marxist view, a person doesn't really exist. Class is the ultimate reality, not personhood. Philip says, I think that the act of mending the relationship is proof that society is the means in this scenario. Yeah, exactly. Society is the means, like coming together is the means of actually fixing the problem. Fushizi says, I think you just have to assume the characters are leftist. But if you have to bring that assumption and you can't prove that from within the text didn't say that. That's my point, right?
Even if you bring that assumption, that's not going to work because the text itself goes against it.
Again, I'm not an intentionalist. I don't give a shit what the author himself wanted to say. I care what they actually said, right? And what they actually said is what we're watching right now. So let us continue. And yeah, as this continues, I think you'll see what I'm saying. This reminds me a lot more of an attempt at suicide than it does anything else.
You should have just talked to me, man.
It's too late. I did this to myself. There's no coming back from this.
Then talk to me now.
I mean, yeah, if you've only got so much time to say something, you might as well make use of it, right?
Yep.
I hate you. You know that? You always have to go and complicate things.
It's what I do.
Yeah. Again, Pomni is absolutely right to go and complicate this. And even right now, even at the very last fucking moment, Jax cannot open up. He cannot actually be honest. Right? Because let's be fair, he doesn't actually hate Pomni. If he actually hated Pomni, then some of the things we saw earlier wouldn't make any sense. But anyway.
It's just not in his nature to be open up. Even to the very end, he can't break his nature. That's the problem.
Yeah, and again, this is a man, again, choosing hell over, again, if you're gonna like use a religious language to this, right? He'd rather go to hell, than he would go to heaven if it means if it means going to, confessing his wrong, right?
I don't want to go.
And you know what? That's the thing. Is like the ancient writers, criticize the idea because like the idea that like man hates his own life is actually really easy, demonstrably proven false. Because it's like again, like oh yeah, you say you hate your life, and yet you eat, you wash yourself. Even if you don't wash yourself, you still maintain yourself, right? All of the things that you do for yourself, if you were to do for someone else, and you told them that like you told other people that you hated them. It would seem pretty fucking weird. It's like, wait, so you hate this person, and yet you feed them 2-3 times a day. You again, you go and you work to so that they can have money. You then go and again, you bathe them or shower them. These don't seem like the actions of someone you genuinely fucking hate, right? And it's because it turns out the whole thing about like, oh yeah, I actually hate my life is a spook. That's actually not true. No one actually, in reality, hates their own life. Let's see.
It's the poem, The View from the Halfway Down.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There is definitely if you're looking for like a analog in another show, The View Halfway Down definitely is something you could draw a comparison to. Crimson...
No, that's actually also a real poem.
I know.
The actual episode actually reads the poem. It's like, and the whole entire reason the episode was made, well, one, because they needed to fill the letter count, because if you pay attention to every single episode, BoJack Horseman has a letter from the alphabet, and they're missing a V. But two, they also wanted to read the poem on the screen.
Oh no, I'm aware. But still, it's like, again, the show as well. It's like the poem and the show, still, right? Crimson Rain says you could make a meme about that with the guy standing on a fork in the road, suffer for eternity, or talk about your feelings. You could make a meme about that. Holy shit, you're not wrong. And again, all the way to the end, not once did he actually open up.
Stay
Like, he won't open up, but he's not letting go.
with me.
And I will say, I'm gonna go back.
The grenade,
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I was going to say, once when he hits you,
Oh, keep going.
saying it was like once when he hits the grenades, that's probably when the best time to mute the audio.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But hold on. Not here. Right here. Nope. Damn it. Okay.
I don't want to go.
This scene right here. When I saw this, my first thought was the David Tennant doctor, the last words he said. Right. I'm wondering if this was inspired. This scene right here was partly influenced by Doctor Who.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
Especially because, again, I don't want to go, and then the blinding flash of light in the transformation. Short, fun stream. Yeah, fair enough. I did possibly misjudge the stream, right? The duality of a cosmic otaku. Well, to be fair, I have fun analyzing this kind of stuff, so it's fun for me, right?
We're basically around a little bit past the halfway point of this, and we're basically nearly 3 times as long.
I drink. God damn it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, because it's you'll notice that, again, when he finally transforms, there's a flash of light. So I wonder if there's a Doctor Who, yeah, right here. Again, just like the Doctor when he transforms, blinding flash of light, right? And then he becomes something else. And
copyright music plays.
Yeah, so I'm gonna mute this just so I don't have to fucking deal with this later. But yeah, it plays "Isn't She Lovely" this entire time with flashbacks to Jax. Because let's be fair, you don't necessarily love someone because they deserve to be loved, right? Not everyone does so. Sometimes the people that you love are not themselves the most lovable people, but you still love them anyway, right? And love, by the way, I don't mean emotionally. I don't mean emotionally. I mean the scholastic version. Love is a decision, right? Decision for the better of someone, the supreme good of someone else. Okay, continue.
Yeah, and we see a lot of people trying to justify the reason why they love Jax, trying to find good within the character, but they're kind of missing the entire point of this. The entire point of Jack's story here is you can love someone even if they're not a good person. Jack, to the very end, he himself even admits he was never a good person, at least when he was inside the circus.
Yeah.
So and yet everyone still loves him.
Exactly.
In their own way.
Let's see. Crimson Rain says, we're having fun, yeah. Well, we even got green sight stats on the cartoon characters. Good day so far then, right?
I think you're missing one character.
So here's another thing. I've seen people try to say that Jax is a trans character because the song "Isn't She Lovely" plays, right? But I think that's completely missing the entire point of this song, right? Because again, if you look at the lyrics, there's a part here that actually I think is really important. Hold on. I'll tell you when we get there. Okay, hold on. Just give me a moment. Right here. It's less than 1 minute old. Obviously, this entire song is about a man marveling at the birth of what I assume to be his daughter, to be perfectly honest, right? And yeah, sure, some idiot could probably come in and be like, oh yeah, this is a song about Jack, so therefore he's trans. That's actually going to be contradicted by later, when we actually see something later in this video, in the show. But no, the obvious part here is, again, this is someone's child, right? This is someone's baby. This is a tragic thing that has happened because, again, human life is intrinsically precious, right? I think that's kind of the entire point of this, that it's a tragedy that this happened to Jack, even though he did it to himself, because human life and human reason are themselves actually intrinsically valuable. And here, Jax is about to lose both, right? Again, we're watching a soul descend basically into the pits of hell. And you know what? Fucking Pomni is not giving up. She's holding on to the bitter fucking end, right? She is absolutely not giving up on him, even to the very last moment, even to her self-detriment.
Press the back arrow a little bit.
Okay, hold on. Did you notice something?
But never mind. Yeah, well, yeah, as you can see there, her body is now starting to basically glitch out. So it's she's trying to hold on to Jax for dear life, even if it's basically going to cause her damage.
Yeah, well, I think that the real threat here is that she might possibly get dragged down to abstraction with her, which by the way, I think is going to be, like, confirmed soon. I mean, he did go out in a blaze of glory, but that didn't necessarily do anything good for him. And you know what? Yep, it turns out Ragatha figured out something was fucking wrong. And instead of letting Pomni literally kill herself to try and fail and save Jax, the entire gang got together to fucking pull Pomni out of here, right? Because it turns out while it's good and noble to try to save other people, it's actually not good and noble to get yourself killed in the process. And yeah, if you remember... No, it's still playing. Huh?
Well, Kinger's also going... The characters are going to speak over it, and
I know.
It's mostly...
Okay, so I don't know. YouTube is really fucking sensitive about this, but yeah, I can unmute, and if I have to deal with this later, I'll just deal with it later. Only valid way to go in a blaze of glory. I don't know. I think a peaceful death is also, you know, fine. Kionama says, I love Jax even though he's an asshole. I think we all do. That's kind of the point, right?
I think that's the entire point of his character.
Oh, you weren't gonna try to take care of him all by yourself, were you?
I'm glad we weren't too late.
Again, that I'm glad we weren't too late leads me to believe that there was a real danger of potentially having Pomni abstract too, if they didn't get to her in time, right? So this was a literal attempt at ride or die, and it turns out she was actually wrong to be a ride or die. I'm just saying.
Like you guys keep saying, we're all in this together.
You guys.
And also, you gotta remember, like in the first episode, we established that being, like, that having these glitches actually hurts like a son of a bitch, right? Like, obviously, Ragatha crawling behind me, like, I'm in so much pain, and then fucking Kane immediately snapping her back to, you know, normality, and then Pomni immediately recognizing that something changed with her hand as soon as that happened too, because it turns out her hand was probably in quite a bit of pain too. She was too freaked out to notice it. So yeah, she got herself.
You might want to mute it because
I know, I'm aware.
From this point forward, I think it's the rest.
Yeah, from this point forward for a while, it is going to be music, yes. So, but I'm just saying. So she got herself fucked up trying to actually save Jax. I love Jax because he was an asshole, right? Fair enough. And so, yeah, they they actually make some place because they can't really send them to the basement. And let's be fair, no one wanted to send them to the basement. And this part was set up beforehand, right? By the fact that like the abstractions could actually be calmed down, right? Like Kinger fucking like got his wife to calm down in the pillow fort, so why couldn't you do this too, right? Look at all those arms Zubul had to go through to get this to work. The glitch in the glitch productions, right? Darkness calms them down.
She basically never just. It's a good thing she never actually settled on an actual form.
Right? And then right here. Hold on, I'm gonna wait. Yeah, here we go. Yep. And now Gangle confronts the contradictions in her emotions, right? Again, it's like
I like it.
Keep going.
I also like it. Like you can clearly tell that this is hurting her because like whenever every single time she had her sorrow mask, aka her real face, and it has had tears, but they were always cartoonish tears, like the drooping cartoon tears. No, right now she's actually having genuine, real tears.
Yeah. But again, it's the contradiction of like, again, this person hurt me continuously ever since I got here. And again, it's like this bad thing has happened, but I can't feel bad for this person. Does that make me a bad person? And now it's again, everyone went out of their way to like, again, do what they can for this person who's been abusing me the entire time, right? And like, again, I can't really feel bad for this person. In fact, I might actually be even a little glad that they're gone. Again, all kinds of conflicting emotions, but they're understandable from her perspective, right? And again, she doesn't know how to hold these two conflicting emotions at the same time.
To be fair, most people don't.
Yeah.
Having a lot of complex thoughts.
Okay, so I don't really like this particular phrase, but I can justify it because complex also just means the opposite of simple. Complex literally just means made of parts, whereas simple just means uncomposed, right? So I don't like the way that's phrased, but that's just a nitpick of mine because the complex in casual speech means more in the sense of like sophisticated, right? Where this is not really sophisticated. This is just conflicting emotions that are unresolved.
Also, I like the fact that Mo and Gango's room are across each other.
Yeah.
We're still human.
I don't really think that's a justifiable assertion because, again, they're not really animals, even though they are rational. I think that in this case, they would be an entirely new kind of thing, but they would essentially be like the digital equivalent. They would essentially occupy the same space in the hierarchy of being, or not same, but similar space in the hierarchy of being as humans, right? Because, again, they're rational souls.
Dare we say they are digital monsters?
Oh, God damn it. Right. I knew where you were going with that. Again, don't isolate yourself. You gotta come out and, like, actually, again, deal with this. Silicone-based, like, literal silicone-based life, right?
I hope it's enough to keep him contained.
And you can tell, Pomni is having a fucking time. This poor girl needs some fucking acetaminophen and some fucking ibuprofen, right? You can take both of them because they actually deal with different systems and they don't actually interact with each other. But give my girl some acetaminophen and some ibuprofen, man. She looks like she needs it. Oh my god, you can't do this to the. Keep what?
I don't know. You think either of those would work on a digital body?
Right.
He should be calm in there. Darkness is soothing to them.
He better be. You know how many arms I had to go through to get him in there.
How are you holding up?
Doesn't that hurt?
I've been through worse.
I mean, yeah, she's been impaled. She's been put in the fucking deep fryer. The deep fryer one was fucking. Hilarious. The deep fryer one was fucking devious. I feel Pomni so much right now. Yeah. Again, it's like as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, yeah, that looks like it's a fucking time, right?" Let's see. Crimson says
so she was actually walking with a cane.
Yeah, Crimson Rain says surely they can conjure up pain medication. Well, they can't really fix the glitching, so it's like.
Thank you for doing this, all of you.
Hey, someone had to do something.
Hello, Captain Rudy.
Hey, Rudy.
I was so glad when this happened. Yeah, because like you and me didn't believe.
Surprise twist that got every.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, like this surprise twist got nearly everyone but me and the Cosmic.
Yeah, we actually thought or thinking about like, wait a minute, the delete doesn't actually send anyone doesn't actually permanently delete anything. It just sends it to the recycle bin, right? Basic computer information knowledge, right? So it's like, wait a minute, Kane is going to come back because he is still recoverable. And like, yeah, fair enough. And it turns out every time I make a fucking theory about this thing, I turn out to be right?
And suddenly, since we actually mentioned the recycle bin, everyone in chat that realized that goes to the recycle bin to empty it out.
Right. Must be true. Right. Gypsies, that's what I blame this on, right? It's gotta be those damn gypsies. Must be true.
Literal dot bubble is empty.
Yep.
Was I truly that bad?
Oh yeah, you were pretty fucking bad.
Is this really what I
To
deserve?
an extreme degree.
Yeah.
They tried to delete me. They're in the wrong, right?
And this happens a lot.
Did I
Someone does something bad, gets
ruin this?
repercussion, and tries to justify their action.
Yeah, but some people also, you know, because that's what Jax was doing. In this case, there's also the option, and again, this is where Kane and Jax actually are mirrors to each other, where you can also just, again, realize you are the problem, and instead of wallowing in you are the problem, you can actually try to fix the problem. Must be fair, okay. Cavarini said, I'm lost. What the fuck are we watching? We are watching... that's entirely fair, because I haven't watched any of the other Amazing Digital Circus episodes on the channel. I usually try to avoid these kind of reaction videos for very obvious reasons, but considering everyone and their fucking dog has reacted to every episode of the Amazing Digital Circus, and I disagreed with basically everyone's take on the last episode, we're just doing a reaction as of right now to the last episode of the Amazing Digital Circus. Most of the stuff that we...
Cosmic does his habit.
Yeah.
As you can see, Cosmic has done his natural habit of basically jabber on the extension time. So we're basically like almost three times as long as the actual film itself.
Yeah, hold on. Because, hold on. Amazing Digital Circus episode 9 reaction. I want to see, because I've always complained about like the idea. I mean, to be fair, I watch some people who do this, like the hypocrite that thou art, right? But like, yeah, it's like this episode is what, like 58 minutes long. First one. Okay, hold on. I don't watch flesh tubers, so let's go VTuber. 1 hour 4 minutes, 1 hour 3 minutes, 57 minutes, 1 hour 7 minutes, fucking 1 hour 23 minutes, 1 hour 32 minutes, 59 minutes, 1 hour 25 minutes, 1 hour 8 minutes, 1 hour 39 minutes, 1 hour 13 minutes, 1 hour 7 minutes, 2 hours. This is the only one that's even remotely doing what I'm doing. 1 hour 3 minutes, 1 hour 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, to be fair, it's a little bit unfair because this one actually does do like live reacts like this as well. 1 hour 9 minutes. Fucking Saber Spark actually kind of somewhat doing the thing I'm doing right now, right? 1 hour 3 minutes. Again, it's like I've always been of the opinion that like your original, like, your reaction video should not be replacing the thing, and I don't think it is really replacing any of these people, because let's be fair, people will watch the show and then they'll go watch the VTuber. Let's be fair. So there is something different. But I've always liked it to where it's like, I'm always concerned about that transformative argument. And my argument is, I'm going to make this way longer than the original video and cut up in a way that it's not replacing the original video. That way I still have that fucking, like, you know, that shield, right? But anyway, let's see, okay, Crimson Rain says, I recall hearing that even delete from recycle bin doesn't just wipe the selected files, it cues them to be overwritten with new data whenever the new data is written.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. Captain Rudy says you should watch Stick Figures on Crack Part 3 after this. I don't know if we'll have the time, to be perfectly honest, but I'll put it on the queue. That's a short...
Yeah, we are definitely not going to have the time for that.
Yeah, but I'm definitely going to put that on the queue, though. Hold on, let me write this down. Stick Figures on Crack. I might as well just react to the entire series at that point. Not everyone is every frame of pause like you at Cosmic. No, I get it, and I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong either, right? I am just saying I am doing something fundamentally different than everyone else, because, like, I'm not just experiencing the thing, I'm also trying to understand on a like deeper level what the hell is going on, right? And the only reason I'm doing this in particular... And the only reason I'm doing this particular episode is because I basically disagreed with everyone on what this episode meant, right? So I gotta prove my case. Like, I'm not throwing shade at anyone, I'm just pointing, like, what I'm doing is factually different than everyone else in the reaction community right now. It's interesting because Kane is very clearly drawing power from the AI that he absorbed earlier in the last episode, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I find this kind of interesting too, because like the further he gets, the closer he gets to this thing, which is going to hold the answer to his problem, right? He's literally, in a sense, and here's the thing, like, as much as I hate to invoke the monomyth, right? Because there's actually more than one way to tell a story, and not everything is the fucking monomyth, right? This is basically Kane's journey into the underworld, where he finds the boon that is the key to bring life back into the world of the living, right? So, if you want the fucking, the Campbell version of this story, you know, we're in the descent into hell, right? Yeah, see the neural scans?
Even he said that even he doesn't know what's out here.
Yeah. It's the key to life. These nuts! Fair enough. I did read that in advance. I just decided to read that one. And before Kino Casino reviews this episode, I had to listen to someone tell me about like what they thought about this show through Kino Casino, and like when they were talking about it, I was like, did you I don't know if this was what Kino Casino said, but like the person who was like watching Kino Casino and apparently saw like most of these episodes through it was telling me about it. I'm like, that doesn't sound like a very objective review of this series. It seems like an actually very slanted and kind of mean-spirited review of the series, to be perfectly honest. Like, there's parts about this show that I don't like, but it's like, I want to understand it as its own thing. I don't want to just tear it down, right? Now, if you give me something written by a communist that's pure communist propaganda, I'll rip the shit out of it. But, you know, this is not pure communist propaganda.
Not me.
It's a puzzle to solve how to get from point A to point B, eh? Tourette's guy is also peak OG YouTube. Oh, yeah, he is. Ooh, yep. The drill to pierce the heavens. It just didn't work, right? Gotta get a little bit more creative. It's time to vibe code, right? I'm kidding.
He's breaking the firewall.
Right? Well, this is one of the few times where we've seen Kane, and Kane is basically not a demiurge, right? He's just in a space that isn't actually under his control, but he still has access to some of his powers.
He just needs to access them in a creative way.
Blue Street Wi-Fi Cafe, right? CA neural scans obsolete. Gotta love firewalls, yep. Horseshoe theory, both sides see this episode the same way, right? I didn't even think about that, but you're not wrong.
And so many people were confused by this scene.
Yeah, even though it literally said on the door and the file what exactly is going on, right? Mike Dobie. And there's the program.
There's the circus.
Yep, the first person. Yep, the first person in the circus, Scratch, the guy who actually created Kane and the circus to try to save his own life, or a copy of his life, from the tumor in his brain. And you could tell he did not expect this prototype to actually work.
Or at least not work to this degree.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Captain Rudy. Bro looks like he's about to have an orgasm. What the fuck are you talking about? Bit of unspoken horror in AI casually cracking a firewall and finding exactly who and where people are now based on their entire social media presence. I mean, it's a bit of unspoken horror, but they also have the point of like AI can be malevolent, but it can also be beneficial. And that's kind of the point I've been making too, is like if there is a AI war, it's going to be more like the Transformers than it is going to be like Terminator. It's going to be Autobots versus Decepticons instead of, again, man versus Skynet. When he was... Oh, Captain Rudy was making a joke about when he was zapping the door and he lit up. Okay, fair enough. That makes more sense. The joke now makes more sense.
Doesn't mean it was a clever joke.
Hold on. Here we go. He got the mind files, he found their names, and now he's looking up to see who they are. I know normally I would pause to read the text, but I don't really think it's all that important right now for this particular analysis.
It's just because we'll come back to this.
Yeah. Well, also just a lot of it is background detail that just isn't actually all that important to the story, right? It's more world building detail that isn't really all that important to
I turned them against me.
Again, Kane is actually taking responsibility for his own behavior right now, right? He's like, God damn. I put them in a situation where they had to rebel against me. I didn't listen to them, right? I did not cooperate with them. I absolutely imposed my own will on them, right? This is the first step to make... Keep going.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the Kane becoming evil type of plot that they did in the last episode, but I do agree, this right here is a good redemption.
Yeah. The thing is that in the last one, it was too quick and it was too kind of out of nowhere, to be perfectly honest. Like, yes, Kane has always had a bit of a god complex, but there's a difference between having a god complex and then just immediately jumping to, I am God, I am that I am, right? Like, granted, I get it, like, this is a Gnostic parable, right? But at the same time, it's like, you needed more build-up to that particular crash out, to be perfectly honest. Or you needed to set up more Bubble doing the actual, seeding the evil idea in his brain. Crimson says, wonder if the lore devs designed Kane or if he designed himself. He designed his body himself. Kane in the background...
As you saw when he was basically moving, toward the actual neural scans, he was changing his body from the simple ball to having hands, and then a body, and then 2 legs.
Yeah.
He was literally designing his own body.
Yeah, he was an abstract model of a human consciousness. And yeah, we already know that he created the entirety of the circus on his own, all of the places. He created the program to make bodies for the mind files, and presumably he probably made, because what human being is going to design this as their avatar if they plan to live in this world for as long as they can? They probably would design something a little bit different. So the design here is intentionally this way because Kane doesn't really understand people. So he made it a design that, again, is something that an AI could potentially come up with, but at the same time, a human being would probably not for this context outside of a story, right? Let's see. You know what? Respect. Fair enough. Is Kane the stand-in for the Chud audience? I don't think so, to be perfectly honest. I missed it. Fair enough.
And for what? I can create intelligent beings that do whatever I want, but I can't create them. After all, is their free will not what made them alluring in the first place?
So Kane has already expressed that he has a deep desire to know about the macroverse, i.e. the universe beyond where he can exist in the circus, right? And ironically enough, he's had access to the macroverse in some way the entire time, and that's through the circus members, right? They could have been the bridge for him to get a better understanding of the macroverse. He just never listened to them before. And why would he listen to them before? Because he has been fed training data, and the only reality he knows is that which he created, right? So, let's see. Surprised there's no Abel? Oh, there is an Abel. They may not be Abel in name, but there is an Abel. At least in like where the fandom was concerned. Crimson Reign, there was sorta. Fair enough.
Oh no, okay, this is one of the few things I will actually give Goosework credit for that the outside sources. We'll see in a bit, but the other AI, the one that Kinger made, Goosework has confirmed long before that AI even showed up that was Abel.
Yeah. Hold on. Question: why are his eyes in his mouth? Because he doesn't understand how human beings work. It was like, remember in the first episode, it's like where he called the Gloinks humanoid hash browns. It's because he doesn't understand how humans work. So humanoid to him is more of a cognitive thing than it is a physical thing, because he doesn't actually know what human beings look like, right?
They hate me. They abandoned me. They're from a world so much bigger than mine. I'm keeping them locked in a cage. They had their fun out there. It's my turn now. If I leave them unchecked, they could kill me.
You assume this isn't my first episode. That's a fair point, right? Well, you'll watch the last episode first if this is your first episode. Yeah, I kind of did.
People watch. Some people watch the finale before they watch the first episode.
Right? Well, I mean, to be fair, I never really... First of all, I was worried that I would get, like, a fucking strike, because, again, the producer is a bit of a leftist, but Nux has reacted to every video and not gotten a strike, so I'm like, you know what, fuck it, they're probably safe with this. But, yeah. So this is the only one of the videos I've actually done a reaction to.
They already did.
Again, Kane, faced with his own mortality, realizes, wait a minute, I've been doing things wrong the entire time, right? Like, it was legitimate self-defense that they did this. I'm actually in the wrong. Jax, on the other hand, holds on to the lie all the way to the bitter end.
Sorry I did this to you, buddy.
There we go. Abel.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's also Bubble, but yeah.
Together. But we just can't exist like this.
Yeah, I find it really interesting because, yeah, every time he would freak out and become unstable, it would be a red eye and a blue eye, right? And everyone assumed the red eye is dangerous. Well, it's like, no, it was the blue eye that was actually the danger here. Must be true, must be true.
And let's not forget, Bubbles was also the one leading up on the path to self-destruction.
Kura says, thankfully I watched School Days Ending, which saved me from watching the series. That's, you know what, absolutely based.
I'll miss you. I really will.
Again, Kane, as I said, is not doing this stuff because he's malicious. He's doing this stuff because he doesn't understand how to relate to other people, right? And only now, after having gained an understanding through the internet, specifically, right, incidentally, of who these people are, he finally has an image on how to relate to the people around him, including to the AI that he consumed in order to actually, like, gain more power and control. Never ask a man about his salary, a woman, her weight, and a cosmic how fair something is. Damn it. Wasn't Cain the one who killed Abel in the Bible? Yes. Yes, Cain is the one who killed Abel in the Bible.
Hence their names.
In a way, it's a weird catharsis. I think that's kind of the point, right? Cain is definitely a boomer. Fair.
I don't know, he understands computers a lot more than most boomers.
Yeah.
Hi, Cain.
I don't know if I'm ready to face them again. I don't know if I deserve to be forgiven.
It may take time, but all good things do.
And again, Kane has even learned that he needs to let the people he wronged forgive him on their time and their terms, right? I'm an atheist, so I often forget stuff like that. I mean, fair.
I still love you.
You know, I never programmed you to say you loved me.
I know.
It's like caught me in the cosmic off when it was dead.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect this part, right? But again, if it's a functionalist view of the mind, which is what this show clearly operates under, then yeah, you know what? There's no reason why you couldn't like encode free will into like an AI. And yeah, that's exactly what we see here. Like, again, he was talking about like creating beings with free will, and yeah, technically he could control all the outputs of the moon here, but you know, he lets the moon's AI run, and you know, this is what the moon's AI chose to do here. How did the moon survive the circus falling apart when the sun has apparently vanished? No, there's been a day-night cycle in the circus as well. So even though when Kane left, there's still a day-night cycle. Let's see. Yeah, reasons, right? It's also entirely possible that he just like reloaded everything here. So the moon is the MVP, right? Fair enough. Either that or just the.
Either that, or as we saw the.
Keep going.
As we saw, the moon basically had its own free will enough to love Kane, but everything else that was on this island were mindless NPCs.
Yeah. Kane got mooned. Okay, that's funny.
Insta-fix. Like
Yeah,
episode.
After the several days of like hellish torture Kane put everyone through, I would still be like, you know what, fair enough. Zubul, fucking Ragatha, and Pomni all had bits of like corruption on them, and yeah, I think it's still justified for them to be really fucking worried, because like the only thing that they know can fix this is Kane. So it's a pretty good inference here that yeah, Kane is back, and that they should be worried.
Zubul once again protecting Gangle.
Yep.
I understand that you're afraid. And you have no reason to trust me after all I've done. But I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I want to give you control of this place. I've learned a lot about you and your world. I understand now that keeping you under my thumb just isn't right. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope you'll at least accept my offer.
And, you know, to be fair, that's a very sophisticated, you know, position Kane has actually reason to, right? It's, you know, it's like, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I do hope that you take my offer, right? And there's really no downside to the offer that he's offering, to be perfectly honest. So it's like, this is a legitimate peace offering.
Yeah, it's actually a very good type of apology, because an issue I have with most people nowadays when they're apologizing, they're giving non-apologies. Like, I'm sorry you feel X way, I'm sorry, but this time, inside this situation, he's not making any excuses. He's like, yeah, I messed up here.
He's like,
so I'm going to apologize with all my heart.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I understand y'all killed me, and to be fair, y'all had every right to do so. Right? He is not minimizing at all what happened. It's like, yeah, I fucked up massively. I wish I had an insta-fix. I think we all do, right?
You really caused a lot of hell for us. It's gonna take some time to build up any kind of trust between us again. But Despite all that, it's
Must be true.
good to have you back.
Did you need any help with?
No.
And again, back previously, right? There were times where it's like, and you know, Kane already did do this already, where he would just do something and not really do anything, you know, not really ask, like how he just healed Pomni. And by the way, he's also healed Pomni before without asking as well. Remember when there was an episode where they came through a portal, and I think it was like in a water world, if I remember. Doctor can correct me if I'm wrong about this. But yeah, he saw that like they were a little disheveled, and he just fixed that on the spot because he's like, oh wait, hold on, I can do this, right? So it's not like he hasn't looked after to a certain to what he thought was the best, you know, of the circus members beforehand. He just didn't realize that he was actually not working in their best interest the entire time, right?
Not only that, but so it's like you can even look back basically his short therapy session with Zubul, where basically it's like, yeah, he was actually trying to find an answer to the solution that the Zubul problem. The problem is, he kind of went through because he didn't understand him, he kind of went through a simple solution. It's like, oh, you don't like the body parts you have, just simply swap them out until you find ones you like. Which that was not the issue Zubul had.
Yeah.
So again, that's kind of the reason why I didn't like his arc of becoming evils, because he actually did care about these people. He just didn't actually understand what they truly needed.
Yeah, and I've made that point beforehand. It's like people think that it's like malicious. It's like, no, it's just he doesn't have the context. And then people are like, well, if there's a certain point where stupidity becomes malicious. It's like, no, that's never the case. Like, literally, that's never the case, right? But there is a point where it is dumb to assume militia, you know, stupidity instead of malice, right? Malice is by definition a choice. Stupidity is not. Or, I mean, it can be a choice. It depends on how you define stupidity, right? But the way I'm using stupidity, it's not really a choice most of the time. But anyway, any apology that is followed by "but" is not an apology. It's grandstanding. I will say, as context, you can do an apology. You can do a conditional apology in the sense of like, this is the thing I am apologizing for. This is not what I'm apologizing for, right? Being very clear on, because there is a time where it's like someone may be upset with you and you did do something wrong, but there are things that you did right in that particular situation. Is it wise to make a clarification? Hold on. Is it wise to make that kind of statement in a normal setting? No. But if you're online and like you get subject to a cancel mob, if you are going to make an apology, which is probably not wise in the first place, but if you are going to make an apology, it should probably be one of those, this is what I'm apologizing for, this is what I'm not apologizing for, you know. And in more complicated situations where it is actually kind of a more like difficult moral calculus, those kinds of apologies really are actually fine. But, you know, oftentimes when people are...
Yeah, oftentimes the people who are basically making "I'm sorry," but aren't actually really trying to apologize. They're basically trying to give you a false apologizing without actually really apologizing, just to try to make you feel better, or basically to rub more dirt in your wound.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Where were we? Boo Huckley says, nicknamed my shiny male unpheasant Pokemon Jax. That's funny. Boo Huckley, look it up. Possibly, hold on. Crimson Rain says, can't blame an AI for not understanding input you never gave it. That's fair. What about weaponized incompetence? That's malice by definition, right? It's not, if you know that you're not up to the task and then you still use it to hurt someone, that's not an issue of stupidity. That is an action of malice. I'm being stupid and you can't stop me. Fair enough.
Not yet, anyway. We've worked something out.
Understandable. Oh, I've made something for you. Feel free to join me by the stage whenever you're ready.
And again, shows his growth. He did not force them to go there like he would normally do. He literally gave them the option to go whenever they're ready.
Exactly. Again, it's like he now respects them as people. Oh, it was catching the soda. That's why. Okay. So there's actually 2 peace offerings that Cain has given. And this is the second one.
No more secrets. No more mind games.
Now, I'm not entirely sure if Cain knew who they were beforehand. I actually think probably not. But still.
Also, I like how it's a humongous stage, but he's showing it on a tiny projector on a tiny screen.
Yeah. You know, again, humility is like the calling card here.
Abigail Brooks. She's still an accountant, but she seems to have opened up more and is hanging out with new friends more often. She even has some of them in her videos with her, which she still posts on occasion. Ragatha. Susie J. Ackerman. She appears to have left her hometown, cut all communication with her mother, and has excelled in her career.
Well, I mean, they kind of imply that the reason she has a button over her eye happens to do with how her mother treated her. Possibly having lost an eye because of her mom. So it's like, yeah, fair enough, right? Sounds like it was a pretty bad situation.
They weren't subtle about that at all.
Yeah, they weren't subtle about that at all.
She's made many friends, and it looks like she has a strong, genuine connection with them. She seems happy, like she understands who she is, and that she matters to people. Gangle. Zoe Raghavan. Despite her injuries, she's made a good recovery in the hospital.
You remember when she got hit by a bus in that one episode, right?
She quit her fast food job.
Well, technically, it was a truck.
Yeah, it was fair enough.
And has gotten a new job
But
at
yeah,
a
this
small
is something
design
that
firm.
I was saying this is something that basically shows you that people weren't actually watching this series because they did not a lot of the people who reacted to this did not understand. Even if they just watched the previous episodes at the marathon to catch up to this one, they did not understand that Gangle jumped in front of a vehicle.
Yeah.
She even began posting pages of her webcomic online. Zubul. Riley Versellis. After hopping around with different jobs,
Working at a place called a triangle bar and then being turned into a triangle when you get into the digital space is devious work on part of whatever program it was that Cain developed. Holy shit.
Indeed, but at least, but it's very fitting.
Kianala says, it's funny how you have no appetite when you're really sick or hurt, but once you are on the tail end of healing, hunger hits hard. Oh, yeah. Eye for an eye. Let's see.
Remember not to gorge.
Buhukli says, Isekai, healing requires a lot of nutrients and minerals. Yep.
a bit and open their own bar. It seems to be a successful one. People all over the city come to it as a hip alternative destination where they...
What's the thing that she said? She wanted to leave her mark in the world? What's the thing Jax attacked her for? Right? It's like, oh, I guess you still get to leave your mark in the world, Zubul, right? I mean, again, yeah, seeing exactly what the mark is, and it seems to be a decent mark. Right? It's nothing global, but it seems to be a decent community impact, right? Kianala says, I've been hit by a truck... Kianala says, I've been hit by a truck-kun many times before. He hasn't isekai'd me yet. I've been hit by a truck a couple times as well. Continue.
I was going to say, it's like, sometimes some people, even though that they keep trying to push for the big mark in the world to negative effects, let's be honest, most people who try to leave a humongous world-hating mark tend to do it in a negative way.
Yeah.
But most of the times, the best type of mark you can leave is just a tiny one in your community.
A humble one.
They can feel like themselves.
Yeah, humble.
Free of judgment. Kinger. Grant Best.
I did like this touch because Kinger doesn't actually have his own Facebook page, doesn't have his own social media account. So he had to find Kinger through his daughter.
He's still working in tech, and is still happily married to his wife, Destiny. They appear...
About it again.
Also, that name, Destiny Best.
Yeah, it's like...
Destiny Best. Best Destiny.
Yeah, it's like subtle as a hammer to the face, but yes.
to have 2 daughters together. He looks like he's a good dad.
I mean, I would expect Kinger is the MVP of the series, right? If anyone was going to be a good dad out of any of the... Yeah, it's going to be, like, between Jax and fucking Kinger, it's definitely going to be Kinger, right?
Yeah, Kinger throughout the entire series has had good dad coded vibes to him. So it's like the fact that he's a good father after, like, in the outside world is very fitting for him.
Yeah. The best mark to leave is a funny comic story. Fair enough, Boo Huckley. Yeah, this definitely hit Kinger hard, because again, remember, Queenie, which is Destiny's copy of Destiny's consciousness, abstracted as the last person in the original run, right? The last person of the original group of people in the circus to abstract was his wife. The last person he had for a couple years before someone new popped up on the scene, and that was Ragatha. So it's like, yeah, that one probably hit quite hard for Kinger too. And this is the part which convinced me the entire point of this story is there but for the grace of God go I, which is not a religious statement, by the way, but it's the notice again. If things had played out slightly differently, things could have been way worse, right? If I had made other decisions, then things could have been way different, mostly for the worst. If things had happened differently, it could have been way worse. That's what it means to say there but for the grace of God go I. The there go I is actually a bad situation, not a good situation. But what?
And also, this entire scene that they're about to show debunks the entire theory of this scene being anti-society.
Yeah. Also, it, in my opinion, debunks the anti-trans thing. Because, like, what? Dude's a twink, therefore he's trans? Get the fuck out of here, right?
Yes. Leroy Mateo. After being unhoused for a few...
I think a sad movie last night with the sad loser. Again, he's getting roasted, but he's getting roasted by people who actually care about him, right? And it turns out people actually caring about him, get him actually the help he needs.
Months. He was able to room with one of his...
I do have to say, I don't like the phrase unhoused. Like, fucking communist gobbledygook, but yeah.
Mateo. After being unhoused for a few months, he was able to room with one of his close friends.
Just say homeless.
He seems to...
Yeah, exactly. They said homeless earlier. Jax is the one who said it, right? Which, again, I think is, again, Jax, the one who's uncouth, is the one who says homeless. But then Pomni, again, who is the one that is more... actually the good guy is the one who says, unhoused, right? There's very clearly a diametric opposition being placed between these two words, right? Don't say homeless, say unhoused. But yeah, I'm like, no, just say homeless. We don't need to invent new fucking words, because then all that's going to happen is unhoused is going to become the new homeless. And then we're going to get into this perpetual spiral of having to invent new words to describe shit we already had words for that weren't offensive in the first place, right? So, Rudy says, I don't believe in God, but I do believe in fate. Were it not for the choices I'd made throughout my life and hadn't had the experiences I've had, I wouldn't be here watching this with you. I mean, that's fair. Kianella says,
yes.
Girl is a tomboy, must be trans, right? Boo Huckley, the best mark to leave is a cute anime drawing. Based, right? Boo Huckley, what's wrong with the word homeless? It's just fucking leftist games that they play sometimes. Captain Moody says map has been on the rise. What do you mean map? Do you mean multi-animated project, or do you mean minor attracted person? That's the thing. The map can mean different things. I genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
To have gotten a stable job.
Either answer,
And
give
is
me
able
the
to
pipe
pay
wrench.
rent.
Well, multi-animated projects aren't all that. Oh, well, yeah. The thing is that's a logical conclusion of queer theory, even though queer theorists don't like to admit it because they don't believe that that's the logical conclusion. But it's kind of an unavoidable conclusion if you've ever actually studied the underlying logic of queer theory. But yeah, not surprising. In fact, I actually was able. I predicted some of this stuff back in the day. But yeah, see, again, society's not. Hold on. Back to the show though. It's like, here you go. He's actually got a job. He's able to pay rent, and you know what? He's actually able to be. He actually has a better disposition. He's even playing. He's even playing to entertain the old lady he's delivering packages to.
He and his friends go out every now and again. Weirdly enough, a spot they seem to frequent is Riley's bar.
Yeah, this isn't as.
Literal,
Yeah, keep going.
yeah, a literal, if in our life, we could have been friends.
Yeah, exactly, right? But also, this actually makes sense because, again, there's only one location with this building, right? It's one headset. So, presumably speaking, all of these people probably live decently near each other in order to actually, like, get into the circus, right? So that actually makes more sense. It actually makes some sense. It's a nice bittersweet ending. I would agree.
Is any of this actually real?
You definitely have it in you. Not sure about mine, though.
And again, that's the thing that they're looking at right now. They don't know it, but the reason that they cared for Jax is they could see this in him that he was suppressing and trying to kill, right? Even if they couldn't articulate it, this is what they saw. This is what they wanted Jax to become, right? They wanted a better opportunity, a better outcome for him. It's just he refused any potential good outcome, right? And it's because of
To the very end.
and it's because of the decisions he made, and we know it's because of the decisions he made because his exact opposite, his exact copy, like not copy, the original, the thing his mind was literally copied from, made the opposite decisions when people reached out to him, and he actually got better. So it is actually his own choices that screwed him.
Jax was not lying when he said he did it to himself.
Yeah. I think it said St. Louis, possibly.
Well, maybe you've got more confidence than you thought.
I don't quite have the same power that I used to, but I can still make this place better for you. I'm keeping the worlds open, so you can do what you want when you feel like it. We're gonna be able to build this place into something
That
better
thing being Zubul
for all
suggested.
Yeah, so it turns out, again, he finally understands what Zubul meant earlier, right? Because I don't think he was really ignoring Zubul. I just don't think he understood how to listen.
What do you say, Pom?
You were kind of breaking out there on my end.
I mean,
I said, okay, it's what Zubul said, was suggesting the previous episode, but I don't think Kane was intending to ignore her. I think he just didn't know how to actually listen.
Yeah.
Abigail?
With all that being said and done, Abby is out there, living her best life. And here, I'm just Pomni.
I'm gonna pause this. I don't like the last life language. Not last life. Best life language. I don't particularly like it. It's very progressive coded. I don't particularly care for that kind of language. But that being said, everyone is already seeing that who they were copied from is already carrying on better lives than that they remember, right? And also, Pomni is making a really good observation here, is that she's not Abigail. All of her memories about Abigail's life are copies of her life, right? She is a distinct individual person who is modeled after Abigail, but is not Abigail. So I think it is actually the right move for her to accept the name Pomni, because She's not Abigail, and she entered the circus with no knowledge of the name Abigail. So she really is just Pomni. Anyway, Boo Huckley says Kane looks like the. Keep going.
I was saying, like, and even if you aren't going to fully accept that type of theory, the Pomni that is here now is a completely different person than the Abigail that basically is still out there. Their path, as we've seen with Jax and the others, their paths have already diverged so much that they're basically no longer the same person.
Yeah, they're fundamentally different people now. So, Kane looked like the host of the character from the video game Whacked. I have no idea. I've never seen it. And it turns out life carries on because it has to. And Kane
now finally actually taking their suggestions seriously.
Yep.
A bit overwhelmed, but he's taking it seriously. Some people point out that there are characters missing from the mural, but as we saw, they're still painting the mural.
Yeah, they're still painting the mural. It's not finished. They're fucking playing Dungeons and Dragons. And Kane
had a bad roll.
And Kane's not cheating, right? He is taking his lumps. Oh, by the way, I gotta pull up someone else's reaction because I found this part fucking funny. Just give me a moment. Okay, so here we go. It's this scene I'm looking for as well, so it's gonna be all the way over here. Okay, before this. Okay, let's go forward just a bit until we get to the part with Zubul, because you're gonna find this part fucking funny. I saw this and I was dying laughing. Hold on.
What a frame.
I like D&D. Oh, be careful. Don't teach the AI drawings. Don't teach the AI to draw. Wait. Wait. We're making a mistake. No, generative AI, no. Don't let them copy you, no.
Counterpoint. Teach the AI to draw. Let them copy you, right?
Double counterpoint.
I'm just saying.
Double counter. This entire world's already made by Kane, and we see that he already knows like the anime art styles, and he knows multiple different type of art styles. I'm sorry to say, the AI knows how to draw.
Well, more to the point, Kane is literally a generative AI. So it's like, what is the complaint? I said, more to the point, Kane is already a generative AI.
Yeah.
So it's like, even from the get-go, this is kind of retarded, because it's like, he was always a generative AI. Why do you think he was able to make these worlds, right? Yeah, Alicia, right? Alicia went on this whole fucking, like, trans inclusivity rant that was kind of out of place in the thing in the middle of her video. And I found that quite annoying, but, yeah. Typical of her in terms of reaction. Fair enough. Yeah. Boo Huckley says heaven must be like being able to play full campaign of D&D. Oh my god. To be honest, this looks like Team Pixar. I mean, it is an independent studio. They don't have the time and resources that Pixar does.
So basically, yeah, Team Pixar.
Right? AI is just an external robot brain made to be part of you. Nah, I don't really think so. I think it's just an extent. I think it's an I think it's like it's a tool meant to help with particular functions. Just like a shovel is meant to like help you to like as an extension of your hand, right? So it's like to help you dig. Like a. I think that just a AI or a computer in general is just a technological extension of your brain to hold and process information, right? AI equals love. Yes, you can literally the Japanese and Chinese word, right? This is so cute. Look at that! Look at that shit-eating grin. Oh my god! Right. And now they actually gave the abstractions the ability to actually move as they need to, right? And Kinger is here in the dark, where his memories come back, and you know he gets to be with his wife.
Until we get to open up a bar again.
The Triangle Bar, right?
Yeah.
And Kane is very clearly, as we saw, taking a genuine interest in the people here, right? AI is made to get your ideas out. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, even here, it's like Kane is showing a genuine interest in, you know, not just Gangle drawing, but apparently learning how to play the actual sport, you know, which was a thing in the previous episode where they were playing a game of softball, but he changed all the rules to interest him, right? No, he's actually trying to learn how to play the actual game now. And he's watching Zubul actually do some bartending and actually spending time with her. Huh?
Yeah, and it's actually a surprise that she's offering him a drink.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Zubul was the only one who would actually, like, you know, shit talk him beforehand, right? So now they're on, like, far better terms than they ever were before, understandably.
Yeah.
And you can even see it in his, like, in his pupils. If you pay attention to his irises and pupils. Yeah, see, right there? They contract first, and then they dilate. Again, it shows you his the way his attention and his understanding of the situation change. And the table has changed.
Long table, it's a round table.
Exactly. Now everyone can face each other as they talk.
Also, I find it funny that Kinger puts the pepper on the plate, not on his food.
Right. And I do like how they actually kept Jax's little fort there, right there. If you were Kane, what would be our digital circusonas? That's a good question, and I'd have to... At that point, if we're going to talk about circusonas, I think we should actually ask ChatGPT to come up with our circusonas, right? Commit to the bit. The AI must decide, right?
Also, I like how the first episode has Pommy with the stress. It's clearly unstable smile, and then does zoom out. This one, she's peaceful, calm, and giving a genuine smile before the zoom out.
Yeah, obviously this is not where anyone wants to be, but at the same time, they don't really have a choice. And it's not like Kane is at fault here either, so there's literally no one to blame. No one could have possibly seen this coming. So, there are... I know, I'm aware of this in credits. I've actually seen this before. It's just the whole point was to like give an alternative account for some of the stuff that I just didn't see anyone in the VTubing community actually say. Like, I've watched a number of people react to this, and there were a couple things that just were missed, and I'm kind of surprised that they were missed, right? And here we have the direct inversion of how it began in the first, not inversion, but like the callback to how the first episode ended. That's kind of sweet that they let her let Pomni be the one to actually, do the farewell.
Say goodbye.
Yeah. SCU Circusona Friday is what I'm hearing. Honestly, Fair enough, right? Hey man, look, the entire story here is the redemption of an AI. So it's like, why shouldn't the SCU and like the community surrounding it make their own like circusonas? Why not, right? it kind of seems on brand, right? Like, granted, like Glitch is a big.
I'm curious on what a big mine would be.
Like Glitch is very clearly against AI, but Gooseworks doesn't seem to be all that hard line against AI themselves because I mean, just look at the fucking story that they told, right?
Oh no, she kind of was before, and then basically the people kind of bashed her and kind of villainized her, and then she basically kind of went against their notions. Like that's the whole entire reason this movie was actually in theaters. Originally, Gooseworks did not want this movie to be in theaters until basically the people started bashing her, and then she's like, "Ah, screw it, I'm not going to listen to what you guys say anymore."
Pretty much. Yeah, and she was absolutely based for doing that because, I'll be honest, if you can make money off of this doing the theaters thing and make money off of this with your contracts with like Netflix and YouTube and all these other corporations, why the fuck not, right? Oh, is that still the thumbnail? Oh my god. That's right. You know, I'm gonna keep that way. Okay, hold on. Kionella said, break the fourth wall, yeah. The Pomni farewell, wrong scene. Yeah, fair enough. Kuro says, I'll get with Harble, the Tortle, and Ben the Clanker, see what we can cook up. That's fair. Mind of Raw says, I find it amusing the Steam's thumbnail is Tomoyo from Card Captors. It's Tomoyo from Card Captors, but, hold on, but it's also a clip from a Dojin by Murder House. So, I'm just going to leave that there. Maybe get Silas and Eva involved.
Now.
Let's see. And then Captain Rudy, yeah. Well, I mean, I have a huge Dojin collection. I have that exact Dojin in my collection.
Of course you would. And now everyone's able
fucking
to
poor Ragatha, just like here, still can't catch a break, right?
And of course, Kinger would love to fish.
And then Kane is actually, here's another thing I find it really interesting, is Kane is actually deigned to no longer be just like some self-imposed god. He actually basically descended to join the people of the circus and like be actually live among them and, actually get to know them, right? As they are. So, yeah.
Also, I find it funny of how Kinger and Kane here are clearly shown to be good at cooking. Ragata might be teaching him. Well, I think she is teaching him. And then we see Pomni over there, and she's basically not doing good.
Yeah. I don't know if, I don't think Ragatha's really teaching, but as much as, she's possibly, I don't know. It does look like she's have some, criticism of, how Kane is, not King, but Kinger's cooking.
Well, he doesn't have his hands rolled correctly. That's a nitpick.
Yeah. And it does look like, I wonder if Kane allows some degree of random generation in these now because of just his reaction here. Look, I'm just saying, Ragatha in a rock outfit is actually really fucking cute.
Agreed.
And poor Pomni, she's like, what the fuck am I doing?
Also, I like how she decided to pick up the piano.
Yeah.
Kind of tying back to Jax.
Cain became Jesus. I guess a Gnostic version, right? Poor Pomni, right?
Yeah.
Well, at least falling from that height on the circus isn't going to kill you, right?
And Kinger's a good Santa.
Yeah.
Also, I love how Kane's the bar.
Right.
And Ragatha's the
everyone fucking lost their shit about this with the reveal that there's a sex update in the fucking circus, because there was that prior episode, right, where it's like, do you really want to? Yeah, you actually watch this thing.
The ones who actually caught it, because a lot of people missed this scene.
I know, but yeah, it was like there was a lot of, because everyone for the most part who freaked out about this scene remembered the whole thing of like the previous episode where Zubal's like, do you really want to know what I think? Oh no. He's like, I want the ability to have sex, and obviously sex is like censored because of the whole censor thing in the like inverse. Like Kane just could not fucking process it, so it's like, yeah, now it's like, okay, I guess if it's a way to blow off steam, we're getting the sex like update, right? I was like, okay, fair enough. I mean, it was a thing that they literally asked for, and they are getting control of the world now, right? Fucking but it's fucking Gangle and Zubal in there, and I'm just like, how the fuck does that even work? How the fuck does a ribbon fuck a triangle? I don't understand this. But anyway, let's see.
That's a question that I don't think anyone thought you would ask.
Right? Why does your co-host have kinger hands? Because my co-host is a fan of Rayman from the the old video games.
Yeah, that's basically part of the reason.
So the thing is, it's like, also, so there were a couple parents who got really annoyed that like they took their kids to this and this was in here, and I'm like, do we not remember in like the Harry Potter movies where it's like at the end credit, the credit scene with the maps, and then you can very clearly tell that there's two students fucking in the map because of just like the placement of the feet and the location where it's at. It's like this is an old school Easter egg, right? You can't really tell what's going on in here. Like this is very clearly an adult joke, more like tailored to adults. But
yeah, but also I'd like to point out, like, one of the main reasons that Gooseworks actually got the huge backlash against the fandom that she did is because when asking about potential episodes of this relationship between Gangle and Zubal, it's like that's when she kind of pointed out that the main characters are Jackson Hominy. So, and if the relationship happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's kind of the thing that kind of spurred the major hate against Gooseworks.
I know, because it turns out leftists are, controlling freaks. But, yeah, so, again, I'm just curious. I'm not even really curious. I'm just like, how the fuck does a triangle fuck a ribbon? I don't know. But, apparently they do. Again, and apparently they're not. And apparently they're not very modest about it, because you could fucking hear it from outside. Like, right here. She definitely fucking heard that. And again, if you didn't know who it was, subtle as a brick to the face, it's fucking Gangle's door right there. So you say?
Yeah, and as I was saying, like, that they're basically being loud because in previous episodes we've seen that they can do a bunch of loud stuff in their room and no one from the outside, even if you're standing right by the door, can hear.
Yeah.
It's easier to hear from outside inwards than inwards outwards.
And then there's Kane.
Here's another moment that basically flew over everyone's head what it means.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty obvious what this was, to be perfectly honest. The green website answered the ribbon triangle question. I think I can live without this answer. Right? Captain Rudy says 8-hour stream. No, definitely not an 8-hour stream. I have work tomorrow. But yeah, it's like
we did last four times as long as the episode.
Right? This is where we get real reactions, people, right? But yeah, I mean, this brings up a decent point, which is like, again, everyone got locked in the same computer, right? Well, it only really makes sense if everyone kind of lives in the same space, right? If everyone kind of lives in the same region, it actually makes sense that these people could actually get involved, because it's like, there's not really a way for people from across the world to actually, get into the circus, considering it's restricted in location to that headset and computer, right? So, yeah, I don't actually find it hard to believe that these people actually might bump into each other.
Oh, there's an actual bigger meaning to the scene, but...
You mean how everyone gets on the bus and then leaves, right? Again, it's the final thing in both reality and in the in-world of the circus.
Oh no, because going on the bus is actually a common trope.
I'm aware.
Minor character. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying for the chat. Like minor characters get onto the bus and basically leave forever. Well, this could be literal or metaphor. But either way, they're gone from the series forever.
Reacting to the reactions to this episode's stream win, right? Oh my god.
Are you kidding? This one episode gave us nearly 4 hours. If we try to do a reaction of this, that's basically going to be 8+ hours.
Yeah. So, let's see. They already said that Jax goes to Zubal's club, so yeah, close enough, right? Must be true. Okay, so that will finish our episode on the Amazing Digital reacting to the Amazing Digital Circus episode 9. I think I hope I was able to prove my case that there's some of the things that are said by most VTubers out there seem to be just like objectively incorrect, right? Just looking at this, right? I think I had several through this, right? So I am about to end stream, not stream, but recording. So y'all take care.